Welcome to Sunday Night with Old Time Radio, 17th of November, 2024. We welcome you and hope that you'll always be a visitor to our broadcasts. We air every Sunday night from 8 to 11 p.m. Central Time. Tonight's broadcast begins with Part 3, the last part of Salute You, Sir, a look at the comedies produced for the BBC during World War II. We move then to a rarity. This is a program from Will Hay. We'll see if we can learn more about him. Next, we move to Quiz Bowl, the College Quiz Bowl. This is Minnesota versus Wisconsin. We follow this with Bold Venture and close with the 7th episode of Adventures with Morse. This is his story, The City of the Dead. Let's begin.
Good morning, Captain Purvey. And if you haven't already heard them approaching from the distance, it's going to be one of those days.
Heard who approaching?
The Admiral and Rear Admiral Ironbridge.
Oh, do get out of me way, Ironbridge. We can't both get through the door together. Stand aside, you're in the way.
Yes, always in the way. Story of my life, in the way. Yes, in the way. Always am. Yes. Who is?
You are, you daft old fool. Morning, Povey. Bad news as usual. Someone's made a monumental boob.
Yes, boobs. Yes. Monumental ones. Boobs. Yes. How do you do?
Oh, do leave off, Ironbridge. Some damn fool must wind him up every morning. Just wish his blasted spring would break.
Spring! Yes. Young man's fancy turns to...
Oh, shut up! Right, Povey. What are we going to do about it?
Well, I thought we could... do about what?
Good man, knew you'd have it at your fingertips. Trust you to find out what's at the bottom of it.
Bottoms, yes!
Oh, give him a cup of coffee, someone, and damp him down. Well, now, Povey, what's your plan?
Plan? I don't even know what we're talking about.
But haven't you heard? Huh? You moved Troutbridge 3 miles, and now the signals are coming from there. Whoever it is, or whatever it is, must have followed them.
Yes, follow them. Yes, always do, yes, wherever they are. Yes. Can't get enough of them.
No, one-track line, that's his trouble. Right, Povey, only one thing to do, recall Troutbridge. Can't have the ship in jeopardy, I signed for it.
Yes, sir. Very well, Admiral. I'll instruct Troutbridge to return to Portsmouth at once. Ports, yes. Mouth, yes. Get a couple of ports down them, yes. And they're anybody's, yes.
Oh, shut up, Ironbridge, and stir your coffee.
Stir it, yes. 2 lumps, yes.
Oh, hit him, somebody.
Excuse me, Captain Povey. Here are some of the mysterious signals you asked for.
Yeah, thank you, Wren Penfold. Now, gentlemen, what we can't understand is why these mysterious signals are being beamed directly to our communications centre.
Well, sir, as I see it, it's one of 2 things. It's either that there's a spy from a foreign power in Portsmouth, or, I think this is more likely, there's a chap trying to contact us from outer space. With a flat head, a bolt through his neck, and lead boots.
Flat head, bolt, lead boots? What's he on about now?
Not to worry, sir. He wasn't in his armchair, but they gave him permission.
Well, that's all right.
Captain Povey, we very much appreciate you bringing us back from the scene of danger, but now we're here, do you think we could see one of the signals from whoever it, or whatever it was out there?
Well, here's a typical one. It just reads E-O-U-Darty. Obviously a code name. Don't you agree, Admiral Buttonshaw?
Oh, yes. Which what's the word I want?
Department?
Division? No, it's Got it, office. Can't break the code.
May I have a look?
Here you are, Mr. Phillips.
Oh, I see. You're not reading it properly. I mean, it reads ... Then it's ... It's not E-O-Darty at all. It's ... Then it goes dash, dot, 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 dash, dash, dot.
Mr. Phillips, I think you'd better sit down.
No, it makes sense. It's not E-O Darty, it's I-O-U a date.
Well, how do you know?
Because I sent the signal to you. I sent you one every night. Look, they're all here.
Commander Murray, you realise I shall make a full report about this to the CNC?
Yes, sir, and I think I want to die.
Don't worry, sir. I think Mr. Phillips just has.
No, it's perfectly all right because I've been paid. I kept in touch like I said I would, and I can take Vera Kins out tonight, can't I?
No.
Why not?
If you look at the rota, you will find that you are duty officer and therefore confined to the ship.
Right, Ren Penfold, as your previously aforesaid personage of our rank, what was going to nosh you up as at it? Me want to invite you to this nice little restaurant of a pretty little news and gospel, where there are lighted candles and a gypsy chap who keeps walking about and playing together Lennox and the violin in his pyjamas. That is, in his pyjamas, not the violin.
Stephen Murray, John Pertwee and Leslie Phillips have been dotting their way through the Navy Lark, written by Laurie Wyman and George Evans. Stephen Murray was the CO, John Pertwee was the Chief Petty Officer, Leslie Phillips was a Sub-Lieutenant, Captain Pertwee was played by Richard Caldecott, Heather was Heather Chasen, Leading Seaman Goldstein was Teniel Evans, Vice Admiral Armbridge was Michael Bates, and Ren Vera Penfold was Norma Ronald. The show is produced by Alistair Scott Johnston.
The Navy Lark from June 1971, and that show remains the BBC's longest-running radio sitcom. Oh, just one more fact about John Pertwee before we move on to the RAF. Whilst John was appearing in There's a Girl in My Soup on Broadway, he was approached by Jimmy Perry and David Croft to star in another armed forces comedy. John declined. So it fell to Arthur Lowe to mutter the immortal words, "You stupid boy."
The digital station for comedy, drama and entertainment. BBC Radio 4 Extra.
Welcome to the final hour of Salutes You, Sir, where we've heard comedy from land and sea, and now we take to the air. Merry-Go-Round's RAF editions gave rise to Much Binding in the Marsh, as its show within the show. Kenneth Horne, Richard Murdoch, Sam Coster and later Maurice Denham all emerged from Much Binding. The station was first referred to in the early 40s and then was properly established in Merry-Go-Round in March of 1944. After the war, it re-emerged as a roadhouse run by the former crewmen. Following a brief defection to Radio Luxembourg in the early 50s, Much Binding reappeared on the BBC retitled Over to You, with the whole concept metamorphosing and eventually ending in 1953. From the 4th of November 1945, this is Much Binding in the Marsh as part of the RAF edition of Merry-Go-Round.
Here's Merry-Go-Round, going round the services week by week, bringing music and fun to boys and girls in khaki and 2 shades of blue. To all you servicemen and women, wherever you are. This week, the predominating colour is once again Air Force Blue. So now with Richard Murdoch and Kenneth Horne, their guest Joan Winters, and a supporting cast including an all-star RAF orchestra, the Royal Air Force takes the air.
Once again, we extend an invitation to you all to come with us on a flying visit to that famous RAF station in After Command, Much Binding in the Marsh, where waiting at the station gates with his usual escort of WAF SPs is our very own CO, Squadron Leader, Richard Murdoch.
How do you do, visitors? Welcome yet again to Much Binding in the Marsh. I've already explained to you the sort of thing that goes on here, but in case you should ever want to come again, I'd better explain the best way to get here. You take a train from any station on the main line, change at Crewe, Flanthorpe, Possingbridge, Spursley Junction and Blope. Here you detrain, get out your sandwiches and vacuum flask, because you have an hour and 20 minutes to wait for the bus to Sprantfield Abbot. Please don't get too hopeful about the sign on the saloon bar at the station hotel at Blope, which says back in 5 minutes, as it's been there to my knowledge since 1932. The nearest station to this camp is actually Little Binding Halt, but no train has ever been known to halt there. In fact, it's so near the offal factory that I doubt if any train could halt there long enough to let the people off. However, station transport meets the bus at Sprantfield Abbot, and one can easily distinguish the station transport as it has RAF roundels on the shafts and yellow gas detector painted on the horse's neck. You should be able to arrive here within 48 hours of leaving Euston, and on arrival you must report to the guard room. This is easy to spot if you know what to look for. It's a converted lighthouse which became redundant when the surrounding country was reclaimed from the sea. You press the button marked A to summon the orderly corporal. He's known as Corkscrew Charlie on account of running up the spiral stairs so often. Don't on any account press button B, because we rather think it's connected to the air raid siren, and so far we've never dared press it to find out. Show the corporal your identity card. If you haven't got it, show him an old bus ticket. He'll never know the difference. And provided you give him a large enough tip, he'll show you round the station. He might even show you the Martello Tower, where the station band practices. Flying Officer Sidney Torch is on leave at the moment, so we've given him permission to put in a deputy. And here then is Flying Officer Peter York and his 16-metre band, and they're going to play a piece, the title of which I've forgotten for the moment, but it'll be jolly good.
Well, by now you will have realized that Much Binding in the Marsh is an isolated district, but just how far from civilization you may not believe. To bring this home to those who do not realize what loneliness and isolation can mean, we're going to let you listen to an actual conversation between the CEO of the station, Richard Murdoch, and the AOC 8080 group, Kenneth Horne, at station headquarters, Much Binding in the Marsh.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm glad you visited us today. You'll be just in time for the ceremonial march past.
Ceremonial flapdoodle, Murdoch. We've got to prepare for something much bigger than that.
But, sir, it's all arranged, and the chaps have been practicing for weeks. The flag's been put the right way up, and we've managed to issue nearly every man with a uniform of some sort. You'll be most impressed, sir.
But, Murdoch, haven't you heard the news?
Don't tell me Golden Firefly pulled off the 2:30 at Pontefract.
No, Murdoch, it's bigger news even than that.
Oh, put me out of my suspense, sir.
Well, it's like this. I was sitting in my dentist's waiting room this morning. I'd finished reading the Needlewoman's Guardian when I came across one of those newspaper things. And there it was in the top press. Murdoch, it's come at last.
What has, sir?
Chamberlain has declared war on Germany.
Well, I must say I've seen it coming. As soon as I saw that consignment of pikes arrive, I knew something was afoot.
I must say my suspicions were aroused when I got a signal from command which read, "Much binding aircraft must be made serviceable, new elastic in post."
I suppose under the circumstances, sir, we'd better cancel the concert tomorrow night.
Oh, not at all, Murdoch. It's moments like these that the airmen's morals must be kept up.
Couldn't we use the elastic for that, sir?
Don't be ridiculous. You know what all this means, Murdoch?
No, sir. Surprise me.
Well, it means that a state of emergency exists. It means that every man must gird up his loins. It means we must all toughen up our sinews and man our posts with determination. This is war, Murdoch.
Is that egg you've got on your tie, sir?
Oh, by Jove, you're right. It must have slipped down off the peak of my hat. What are your reactions to this news, Murdoch?
Well, it's no surprise to me, sir. I always did mistrust the Kaiser.
This'll probably mean a food shortage, you know.
Oh, it's started already. Only yesterday I went into Mrs. Cavy's everything shop at Little Binding to get a dozen bananas, and she'd only let me have 6.
Good heavens, don't say I shall have to put up with pineapple for my 11s again.
Do you think, sir, we'd better break the news to the men, or shall we let them get over the concert first?
Well, Murdoch, we mustn't upset them. If we want them to come into this war on our side, we've got to cajole them.
You're right, sir. You remember how peevish they were when we suggested compulsory saluting? I think, sir, if I may suggest, we might get a line on the men's reactions by breaking it to Costa.
Good idea. He always strikes me as being the epitome of the bulldog breed. Send for him.
Hello? Ask L.A.C. Costa to come in for a moment, will you? What's that? Oh, tell him he can pass bar to his pin-up girls later. Never heard of such a thing.
Tell me, Murdoch, how do you think we ought to arrange ourselves for this interview?
Well, sir, you must definitely sit with your back to the light.
I think you might be nonchalantly scanning daily routine orders.
Yes.
We must put Costa at his ease.
Look out, here he comes.
Quick to our places.
Come in. Oh, it's you, Costa. What a surprise. How are your people?
Oh, nicely, thank you, sir. Mind you, Emily's had a nasty touch of her twinges again.
Yes.
Oh, I know the very thing for that. I came across a tin in the chemist yesterday. It's done me a power of good. It's called D-Digito. And its slogan is, try it out and notice the relief.
Well, I must tell Emily about that, sir. I'm very grateful to you, I'm sure.
Well, sir, I think you'd better explain to Costa why he's here.
Yes. Now then, Costa. By the way, you responsible for DROs?
Yes, sir, yes.
Do you realise you spelt canteen with a K?
Oh, Costa. How many times have I told you it should be C-A-N-T-I-N-E?
I couldn't apologise more, sir. I hope this is not going to jeopardise my chances of promotion.
Well, you know, if you don't pay attention to the small things in life, how can you expect to be a leader of men? Where do you think I should be if I'd spelt Lysander with a Y?
Well, I don't know, sir. I really don't know, sir.
Well, let that be a lesson to you, Costa.
Very good, sir. Is that all?
Yes, don't let it happen again.
Very good, sir.
I thought you were going to tell him about the war.
Oh, by Jove, yes, so I was. I am getting an old scatterbrain.
Oh, I don't know, sir. You're not very old. Shall I get him back again?
Yes, do. I think you ought to know how things stand.
Right. Hello? Send in Costa again, will you? Well, he can trim her edges later. This craze for photographs. Come here. Oh, it's you again, Costa. Tell me, How are your people?
Well, nicely, thank you, sir. Mind you, Emily's had a nasty touch of her
Yes, of course. Now then, Costa, the AOC's got some very startling news for you.
Have I?
Yes, sir, the Gazines about his jolls.
Oh, the scans.
You mean the kafloot about the gravel.
Oh, of course. I'd forgotten the Savins troop.
Yes. That's right, sir.
I'll tell him when he comes in. Is there anything else, sir?
Oh, I don't think so. Oh, yes, there is, yes. I want to warn you, this may come as rather a shock to you. You see, this country of ours is an island. A piece of land entirely surrounded by...
Water?
No, thanks, I've just had a cup of tea. Imagine Europe a seething cauldron, a hotbed, a maelstrom, a turmoil. How are your people?
Well, very nicely, thank you, sir. Mind you, Emily's had a nasty touch.
The fact is, Costa, we're at war with Germany.
Will that be all, sir?
Yes, that's all.
No, it isn't. Costa, do you realise the implications of this?
Well, I've realised it now for about 5 years, sir.
What do you mean?
Well, if my memory serves me right, we've been at war with Germany since September the 3rd, 1939.
Well, I do think you might have told us.
Does anyone else on the camp know this?
Well, everyone but you and the AOC, sir. Besides, it's nearly over now.
Is it? Who's winning?
Oh, well, our side's winning.
Oh.
As a matter of fact, I'm hoping that one of these days I'll be getting back to Civic Street.
Oh, well, I hope the wash and brush up man at Euston has kept my job open for me.
Well, I think we'll all get our jobs back, you know. The girl who took over my job at the Foreign Office says she never wants to work a lift again.
By the way, Costa, what is your civilian job?
Oh, well, I'm Amalgamated Airlines Limited.
Oh, Costa, how interesting. I suppose you'll be needing new blood in your firm after the war?
Oh, yes, sir. There'll be any amount of openings for the right type.
Well, you'll be needing highly placed executives, men with drive and initiative who are capable of making quick decisions.
Oh, yes, sir. The scope is absolutely unlimited for the right man, of course. Amalgamated Airlines Limited is the firm of the future, you might say.
Well, Costa, I must say I've always been very pleased with your work here.
Well, it's been a pleasure to work for you, sir.
I hope you'll be able to say the same thing about you one day, Costa.
By the way, Murdoch, is that corporal post still vacant?
Yes, sir, but we haven't been able to find the right man. But I think I can find someone who could fill the post if it were upgraded to sergeant.
You amaze me, Murdoch. Who do you mean?
Costa.
By Jove, you're right. Good heavens, why didn't we think of it before? Congratulations, Sergeant Costa. I expect your fellow directors of Amalgamated Airlines Limited will be heartened to hear of your promotion.
Well, this is all very nice of you, sir. This will do Emily's twinges a lot of good. It really will. By the way, sir, I'm not exactly a director of Amalgamated Airlines.
Oh? What are you?
Well, I work the lift. Good afternoon.
How are your people?
Well, now that the news of Germany's impending collapse has trickled through, the Air Officer Commanding and the Commanding Officer are determined that much binding shall play an important part in hastening final victory. All recreation has been stopped, and the order of the day is work and more work. Well, as is often the case, when people are called on to work for long periods at full pressure, tempers are apt to become a bit frayed. It seems like this is now happening in the CO's office, where behind closely guarded doors, he and the AOC sit semi-submerged by documents and files of the topmost of top secrecy.
Oh, how can you expect me to agree to this?
But, sir, we've always seen eye to eye over things like this in the past.
Eye to eye, my foot. Here, Murdoch, is a document which will eventually reach command headquarters with a C&C's sanction. And you're asking me to be a party to it.
But, sir, everything's been arranged. The route has been worked out, billets have been organised, and transport laid on.
Well, it's putting me in a very difficult position. And I'm afraid my ruling has got to be a painful one. No, Murdoch, I can't sign it.
Very well, sir. I abide by your decision. I'll just have to take a 48 hours pass instead.
But, Murdoch, don't forget you promised to arrange your leave to coincide with mine so that we could go shrimping together.
Of course, sir. What must you think of me?
Besides, Murdoch, you must remember you've got a lot on your plate here at Much Binding.
By Jove, sir, I was forgetting the concert. Yes. I think you're quite right about the accordionist and the community singing. It should only happen once.
And then the chap who tells the story about the blue booties, that mustn't happen at all.
No. I quite agree, sir. Come in. Oh, it's you, Costa. By the way, why did you leave these ARP instructions on my desk? Pretty stodgy stuff.
ARP instructions, sir. That's the winning entry for the much binding script competition. By the way, sir, there's a lady and gentleman to see you. Here are their cards.
Let me see. Miss Emily Forbes Atkinson, BBC, and Mr. Stuart Skrite, BBC.
BBC? What's BBC?
Never heard of it, sir.
Well, I suppose it's the Binding Benevolent Club.
Yes. Either that or bathing beauty contest. Show them in, Costa.
Very good, sir. This way, please.
Good morning. I suppose you're the two managers here. I'll come to the point very quickly. Briefly, it's this. We, that is, Mr. Skrite and I, represent the BBC. No need, of course, to tell you what that stands for, and no doubt you're already familiar with our activities. We understand, Mr. Skrite and I, that you're organising an entertainment for your workers, and the BBC would like your cooperation in helping us, Mr. Skrite and I, to put over an entirely new idea that has been worked out by us. And when I say us, I mean, of course, Mr. Skrite and I.
Well, we'd very much like to hear this scheme. That is, when I say we, I mean, of course, the AOC and I.
Briefly, I'll come to the point again. Mr. Skrite and I, that is, the two of us, after a great deal of collaboration, have worked out an entirely new angle for a broadcast program. We have a mobile recording van operated entirely by Mr. Skrite, and I do all the organisation. With regard to the program, I'll come to the point briefly. The title, I think you will agree, is very original. I might add, at the risk of blowing our own trumpets, and when I say our own trumpets, I refer, of course, to the trumpets belonging to Mr. Skrite and I, that Mr. Skrite and I thought of the title entirely unaided. The title is Aircraftmen Work Wonders.
Oh, fancy of you thinking of that yourself.
Oh, no, I didn't think of it myself. Perhaps I didn't make it quite clear. It was the result of a joint brainwave by Mr. Skrite and I. The idea is this.
Please come to the point briefly.
Yes, I'm a very, very busy man.
Well, in a nutshell, you are giving a concert. We have a recording van.
Worked by Mr. Skrite?
Quite. And we broadcast an excerpt from your concert provided entirely by local talent.
My word, sir, what an idea. Most original.
The BBC were lucky to get hold of Mr. Skrite and you.
It's quite a new idea, By the way, you'll have to hurry up if you want to record our concert, because it's due to start at any minute.
Mr. Skrite sees to everything. He's dynamic.
Oh, pity. Perhaps our M.O. could do something for him. What about it, Skrite?
Oh, don't bother him now. He's too busy.
Pity he's such a chatterbox.
As a matter of fact, I've got the whole thing buttoned up and laid on.
Oh. Good show. Leon Max Skrite to the NAFE.
Now, quiet, everybody. Quiet, please. Now, you've got to do specially well tonight, as the BBC are going to broadcast the first part of the show. So, Sergeant Spicer, your stories will have to come in the second half. Now, quiet again, please, is the AOC.
Oh, thank you, Murdoch. Well, now, chaps, as you've heard, this show is to be broadcast. Now, don't forget that takeoff is 1930 hours. Your target is the General Forces program, so I don't want you to drop any bricks.
My dear fellow, I do wish you wouldn't kick that cable. The plug's come out of its socket 3 times already. You really should know better at your age.
I'll give you a plug in the socket if you talk to me like that.
Don't upset Mr. Skrite, sir. You know how temperamental these BBC chaps are.
Now, don't forget, when the red light goes on, we're on the air. Now, where's the compere?
Sergeant Spag Brackett?
Here I am, Cock. Let me, I don't feel nervous.
Oh, you don't want to worry, Sergeant, to take a tip from me.
Now, quiet, everyone. It's coming up now.
Who is Mr. Skrite? Right.
This is the General Forces program. And now, from an RAF station somewhere almost in England, we bring you Aircraftmen Work Wonders. And here to introduce the program as your compere, Sergeant Bartholomew Spag Brackett.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The first item on the programme tonight will be Corporal Bashit and his utility two-piece combination. In other words, the much-binding band. And talking of bands reminds me, the wife sent her night dress to the laundry and they sent it back and said they didn't wash bill tents And now, ladies and gentlemen, the match bonding band will tear off their first piece. Wow! And now I have much pleasure in introducing temporary acting unpaid Sergeant Coster, who will sing to you in his own inimitable boogie-woogie way.
For my first number...
For your only number.
Okay. I surrender, dear. Okay, cool. We played the game of Stay Away, but it costs more than I can pay. Without you, dear, I can't make my way. I can't really. So I surrender, dear, see? I may seem proud, I may act gay, but it's just a pose. I'm not really that way. Because deep down in my heart, I say, for the second time, I surrender, dear. Ah, but how lovely you looked on the malachite crucibles. Yes, you really did. And the scent of the margay-braw and the prawny gaze, so sweet, so lovely and smelly. And then you bloggy-filed on Tuesday night. What lovely rapture that was. And there was I, so fly-besqueepered, so deep-applauded, it was terrible, it really was. When stars appear and shadows fall, why then you'll hear my poor heart call. For you, my life, my love, my fountain pen, my everything, I surrender, dear. Thank you very much, yours sincerely.
The next item, ladies and gentlemen, will be LAC Pullet Conjurer. A most unusual act to broadcast, LAC Pullet.
I shall now perform a few feats of legerdemain. My first experiment will involve the use of an ordinary pack of cards. I'll shuffle the cards so, and place them in this envelope. They are very expensive, these envelopes. I went into a shop to get them and said, "What do your envelopes run to?" The girl behind the counter said, "They don't run, they're stationary." Having recovered from your laughter, I would like you now to watch very closely.
I say, by Jove, dash good. I say, that's jolly clever. My word, that's an amazing climax. What an incredible place to bring a rabbit from.
Next, we have a sensational act, Two Boys with Guitar. Ladies and gentlemen, the Stink Pots.
Do I worry 'cause you're stepping out? Do I worry 'cause you've got me in doubt? Though your kisses aren't right, do I give a bag of beans? Do I stay home every night and read my magazine?
Am I curious when the gossip flies? Am I furious about your little white lies? And when all our evenings end, because you've got a sick friend who needs you, do I worry, honey?
You can bet your life I do. Why do I whisper green grass?
Do I worry?
Why tell the breeze it ain't so?
Am I curious?
Grass, don't tell the trees, 'cause the trees don't need to know.
For glamour, personified glamour with a capital J, it's none other than your own Flight Officer Rita Flannel.
Legs, when I'd legs sing for you, walk song from Tom Jones. Fortunata, Fortunata, let me dream out my dreams of delight. Tra-la-la, tra-la-la-la-la, la-la-la-la, Fortunata, let me dream out my dream of delight. Tra-la-la, la-la-la-la-la, la-la-la-la, Fortunata, Fortunata, let me dream out my dream of delight. Tra-la-la, la-la-la-la-la, la-la-la-la,
Isn't there any more to that song?
Well, there is, but I've only got page 1.
Well, can you sing something else?
Yes, I can. I can sing Some Other Time, Not Now.
Thank goodness for that. Goodbye!
Well, ladies and gentlemen, few of you know that in peacetime the AOC and the CO were famous saxophonists and dancers, and were, in fact, well known on the halls under the title of the Puffin Brothers. We have therefore asked them to wind up the show tonight by playing their most modern piece. Ladies and gentlemen, the Puffin Brothers.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the AOC and I haven't played for quite a considerable time, so you'll excuse us if we tune up, will you? Bang on. So, chums, for the time being you've had it, but when we're next on Merry-Go-Round in 6 weeks' time, you'll all be very welcome once again at Much
Binding in the Marsh, where you will see our names upon the roster. At Much Binding in the Marsh.
They're Richard Murdoch,
Kenneth Horn, and Costa.
And this is me, Joan Winters, but before I say goodbye, I'd like to thank you on behalf of Mr. Scrite and I.
So cheerio, the time has come for all of us to fly from Much Binding in the Marsh. Cheerio, folks, at Much Binding in the Marsh. See you later at Much Binding in the Marsh.
Week by week, the merry-go-round goes round the services, bringing music and fun to boys and girls in khaki and 2 shades of blue. This week was Air Force Week. Next week, the predominating colour will be khaki. Today at Much Binding, our guest was Joan Winters. The residents, Denny Dennis, Sam Costa, and of course Richard Murdoch and Kenneth Horn. Peter York conducted the all-star RAF Orchestra. The script was written by Richard Murdoch and Kenneth Horn, and the program produced by David Manderson.
Much Binding in the Marsh from November 1945. Well, just one more show to go in Salute Susa, and we focus on a branch of the military that guarded the British Isles during the Second World War. Any guesses?
The digital station for comedy, drama and entertainment. BBC Radio 4 Extra.
This is the final half hour of Salute Susa, and unashamedly I'm stepping into the limelight, but probably only to point out the obvious, that Dad's Army's journey to the radio didn't follow the same route as the Navy Lark and Itmar and Much Binding, which had their real roots in Merry-Go-Round. Dad's Army came via the small screen and the large screen, and eventually to radio, but it was born of the same affection, I believe, for the programmes and comedians of the war, and those who continued after the war. Radio shows that my immediate post-war generation were brought up upon, like Variety Bandbox and Workers' Playtime, which introduced me to the stand-up comic and variety. It was an education that left me with very little research to do when we started doing Dad's Army in 1968, so I think it has its rightful place here next to the Navy Lark and Much Binding in the Marsh, coming from the same family, if not actually from the same parents. From March 1975, this is Dad's Army and Sergeant Save My Boy.
We present Arthur Lowe, John Le Mesurier and Clive Dunn in Dad's Army. Sergeant Save My Boy, featuring John Laurie, Arnold Ridley, and Ian Lavender, with this week's guest, Pearl Hackney. Here is the news, and this is John Snagg reading it. It is 1941. The Nazi menace, like a creeping pestilence, slowly stifles the life out of Europe. But here in Great Britain, thanks to our brave forces and the gallant men of the Home Guard, we continue to breathe the sweet air of freedom. At the local Home Guard headquarters at Warmington-on-Sea, Captain Mannering is about to begin one of his lectures.
Right, men. If you pay attention to the blackboard, you'll see that I've drawn this map of our section of the coastline. I want to review the tactical disposition of our forces in the light of the broader strategical picture as it now is.
In other words, where do we tell Jones to put his bayonet?
Yeah, thank you, Fred. Hitler is across the Channel, licking the wounds that we gave him at Dunkirk. But make no mistake about it, he is desperate and dangerous. And perhaps the more so now that he's enmeshed with our ally, the Russian bear.
I always thought they were communists.
Yeah, we won't go into that. In times of stress, one can't be too choosy about one's bedfellows.
Especially when you get to his age.
Now, we stand here, shoulder to shoulder, on the shores of dear old Blighty. In the middle, Jack Tar is ruling the waves, while in the sky above us are, of course...
Seagulls.
Seagulls. Well, yes, Jones, there are seagulls, of course, but I was thinking more of...
Mr. Mannering.
Pike, you're late on parade.
Yeah, I'm sorry, sir.
We'll fall in right away.
Yes, sir.
Far too much of this laxity going on.
What do you say, Mr. Godfrey?
There's too much laxity.
It's a funny thing to be given a lecture about.
Well, Pike, what have you got to say for yourself?
My mum wouldn't let me have my tea until I tidied my room.
You come without your tea?
She won't let me come out without me tea.
Well, from now on, I'm taking a very serious view of absence without leave. Take this man's name, Sergeant Wilson.
Yes, sir.
Now, as I was saying, the enemy is drawn up in their phalanxes. Yeah, have you taken his name, Wilson?
Yes, sir.
Well, I didn't see you write it down.
Well, I don't have to write it down. I know it.
Wilson, when I tell you to take a man's name, you must write it down so that you don't forget it.
Well, I'm hardly likely to forget it, am I? I mean, I've known Frank Pike for 19 years.
Sergeant Wilson, I'm not suggesting that you're going to forget his name. What you might forget is the fact that you took it. Do I make myself clear?
Oh, yes, sir, yes.
It doesn't make himself clear to me.
Thank you. Now, as I was saying, what are you doing, Wilson?
Well, I'm tying a knot in my handkerchief, sir.
What for?
To remind me that I took Pike's name.
Wouldn't it be simpler to write it down?
I don't have any paper, you see.
Well, I should have thought that as the senior NCO, you would have had enough initiative to borrow a piece of paper. Has anyone got a piece of paper they could lend to Sergeant Wilson?
No, I'm afraid not, no.
Well, none of you?
You said you didn't want us to have anything in our pockets when we came on duty. Only name, rank, and number.
That was in case one of us might be captured.
You did not wish us to give them any intelligence, sir.
Aye, and some of us haven't got very much to give away.
Why are you looking at me, Private Fraser?
Oh, if the carp fits.
That's insubordination, that's it. It's insubordination.
All right,
sir.
all
Yes,
right.
yes, insubordination,
All
sir.
right, settle down. Now, where was I?
Why don't you stick it on the board?
Stick what on the board?
Pike's name.
Ah, yes. That's a very good suggestion.
Thank you, sir.
Write it on the board, Sergeant Wilson.
All right, very good, sir. P-I-K-E. There now, how's that?
I think it's very humiliating.
Don't be a baby. What's it matter?
I'll tell me mum and she won't give him his egg.
Now, as I was saying, Hitler and his lackey Mussolini are here swarming over Europe, while we are manning our strong points, which are the Novelty Rock Emporium in the west, here, and Stone's Amusement Arcade in the east, here, with our advanced HQ at the Marigold Tea Rooms, here. Now we come to a very serious tactical point. It's quite on the cards that Adolf will have our positions taped. After all, we've been here for some time. He has air reconnaissance, photographs, espionage reports. He will observe our coming and our going. The point is, what are we going to do about it?
Try not to go so often.
Yes. All right, that'll do, Fraser.
When we was in the Sudan, sir, we used to employ a little wrinkle.
Oh, yes.
See, them whirling dervishes discovered our headquarters. We used to shift them to an elsewhere. Then when they came at us with their assegais in the place where we wasn't, we used to fire at them from the place where we was. And after that, we used to go in with a cold steel, sir. They couldn't abide that, sir. Not up 'em, sir. No, sir.
No,
They didn't like it, sir. They
all right.
didn't-
Thank you, Joe.
I haven't finished yet, sir.
I think you made your point.
He never lets you finish, you know.
Now, what Jones was suggesting is, of course, standard military practice. Always surprise the enemy. And that is what I intend that we shall do. Hitler thinks we are here at the Novelty Rock Emporium and here at Stone's Amusement Arcade. But are we?
No.
Right. As from tonight, we shall be here. Now, can anyone tell me what I've drawn on the blackboard?
A little box with a dunce's cap on.
No pike.
It looks suspiciously like the Harris Orphans Holiday Home Hut.
That's quite right. That's very good, Wilson.
No, it's nothing, sir. Nothing at all.
It is the Harris Orphans Holiday Home Hut. As you can see, it has a commanding position on the beach. 200 yards from the sea, good observation, all-round field of fire.
And 3 dozen squealing kids.
No, Fraser, no. The orphans were evacuated to a place of safety after Dunkirk.
They used to wear those little blue aprons and straw hats. And they made the most wonderful sandcastles. I used to want to join them. They had such fun.
Yeah, you're quite right, Mr. Godfrey. That's the place.
Sissy and I invited 3 of them to tea once. We had cream buns. Oh, my, they did tuck in.
Oh, I'd forgotten all about cream buns.
Yeah, the marigold tea rooms used to fill them with cream while you waited.
You know, I always used to lick the sugar off first. Yeah, otherwise it was so fine it went up my nose and made me sneeze.
Wilson, may we please return to the tactical situation?
I'm so sorry, sir.
As I was saying, it has a commanding position and an all-round field of fire. If Adolf attacks us in the Novelty Rock Emporium, well, as from tonight, we shall give him everything we've got from the Harris Orphans Holiday Home Hut.
Evening, Captain Manry. Guard post all present and correct, sir.
Right, Jones. Stand the men at ease.
Like your commanding officer said, stand at 8.
I thought Sergeant Wilson was in charge of the guard tonight.
That's right, sir, and I'm second in charge of the guard.
Where's Sergeant Wilson?
Well, he was feeling a bit drowsy, so I told him to have 40 winks.
40 winks?
Yes, he's over there on the bench.
Oh, is he? The all clear hasn't sounded? He's the guard commander. He should be alert at all times.
Well, it's all right, sir. I promised I'd wake him if there was an invasion.
Well, I'll wake him soon enough. Wilson, wake up.
Oh, Mavis, give it a rest.
Wilson!
Is there anything wrong, sir?
Come outside, Wilson.
Right.
And jump to it.
All right, sir. Yes, of course, sir. Coming, sir.
Now, look here, Wilson.
Yes, sir.
You're supposed to show an example to the men.
Right, sir.
How can I expect them to be on their toes during an alert when you're fast asleep?
Well, nothing was happening, sir. I was just having a little nap. You see, I've been having so many disturbed nights lately, what with the air raids and, you know, one thing and another.
Yes. Well, I'm not concerned with your excuses, if excuses they be. You're going to have to pull yourself together, you know, Wilson. The others managed to keep awake. You'll have to do the same. Or stand down for somebody who can.
Well, I'm sure, sir, if you're dissatisfied with my services, sir, I wouldn't dream of...
That is all, Sergeant. Fraser, where have you been?
Where do you think I've been? Patrolling the beach, of course.
Oh, yes. Any sign of anything in our southern approaches?
You mean the sea? Of course not. No Christian soul would venture out on a black night like this. It's too dark for a tomcat on heat.
Yes, well, be that as it may. Don't take any chances. Keep a good lookout.
Will there be a cup of tea on the way to help to clear my sight?
Pike will be over with at any moment. Good. I'm going back inside now.
Mr. Mannering, do you think we'll be getting some tea soon?
Pike will be over soon, Godfrey. That's probably him now. Oh, Mrs. Pike.
Hello, Mr. Mannering. Where's Arthur?
Oh, what is it, Mavis?
Ooh, Arthur. I had an awful time getting here.
Oh.
It's dark, and I swear someone was following me along the prom.
Oh, really, Mavis? It's hardly likely, is it?
Not everyone finds me unattractive, Arthur.
Oh, no. I didn't mean that. Anyway, you see, in the dark and with the blackout, you know, you look just as attractive as a... No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean that either.
Frank forgot the biscuits. Where is he?
He hasn't arrived yet, Mrs. Pike.
Hasn't arrived? He left 10 minutes before me with the flask. What's happened to him, Arthur?
Well, how should I know?
He's only a baby. You should look after him better. Ooh, perhaps that prowler's got him.
Don't distress yourself, Mrs. Pike. He's probably lost his way in the blackout.
Perhaps he's becoming strangled with some lady follower, you know, sir. I often did that when I was a young rip.
Something's happened to him. I know something's happened to him.
Captain Mannering! Captain Mannering!
Coming, Fraser! What is it, Fraser?
I thought I heard a faint cry, sir. It's from over there, sir, to the water's edge.
What is it? What's going on here? Absolute quiet, everybody. It's Pike.
Oh, Arthur!
It's all right, Mavis, all right.
Are you all right?
I've hurt my leg and I'm caught in the barbed wire.
Stupid boy. What's he doing there?
He must have missed his way and gone through the gap they leave open for the swimmers.
Well, don't leave him there in agony, Arthur. Go and help him back.
Oh, yes, of course I will, yes. I wonder if one of you would be so kind as to come and help me over the wire.
I'd not try that if I was you, Sergeant. You'll be blown to little pieces before you've taken 10 paces from here.
Good Lord, yes. The minefield.
Arthur, he's in a minefield.
Now, don't worry, Mrs. Pike. We'll have him back in no time at all. Wilson, go and get on the phone to the engineers. Tell them we need to have a path cleared.
All right, sir. Right away.
It's a miracle Pike wasn't blown up getting there.
Permission to shout a short message of encouragement to Private Pike, sir.
Yes, go ahead, Jones.
Cheer up, Private Pike, and don't move a muscle, or you'll get blown to kingdom come.
Poor boy. He must be off the coal and wet out there.
Oh, him with a delicate chest, too. Oh, you ought to take more care of him, Mr. Mannering.
I'm waging war, Mrs. Pike, not running a clinic. Wilson, what news of the sappers?
Well, they said they'd be along as soon as possible, sir. But they're rather busy at the moment, removing a landmine. I did say we'd be awfully grateful if they could get here just a teeny-weeny bit sooner.
Why? How long are they going to be?
About 3 hours.
Well, he'll just have to wait. Serves him right. Teach him to be more careful in future.
He'll drown.
Yeah, what's that, Fraser?
If you wait 3 hours, he'll drown. The tide's coming in fast.
He's quite right, Mr. Mannering. Tide, you can't see that barbed wire.
Oh, Arthur, you've got to save him. Save my boy, Arthur. He's too young to go. He's got all his life before him.
Yes, Mavis, of course. Just give me time to think a bit.
While you're thinking, the water's coming up and he can't swim.
Don't panic. Private Pike, don't panic! Don't panic!
If none of you will do anything, I'm going to get Frank.
Stay where you are, Mrs. Pike.
Don't panic!
And
Pike,
Jones, stop hopping about.
Yes, sorry, sir.
Hold on, Frank. Mother's coming.
You'll never get there, Mrs. Pike. There are mines everywhere.
Oh, but I must try.
Oh, how about getting a boat and rescuing him from the sea?
Salt Haven is the nearest. By the time we got back here, he'd already been drowned for an hour.
Oh, no!
Fraser. Do try and choose your words a little more carefully. Somehow we've got to get him across that minefield. Did anyone see it laid?
Aye, I did, sir. It was done in a sort of criss-cross pattern. The mines were laid about 5 yards apart, sir.
Well, we have to clear a path across somehow ourselves.
You know, sir, I saw a pamphlet once, a little while ago. I believe it's the the sort of the done thing, to sort of prod the ground and feel for the mines.
You're right. Good thinking, Wilson.
Yes, sir, we could use a bayonet, sir. And when we felt a mine, sir, we could detour ourselves.
Yeah. Very good, Joe.
Don't forget, sir, there's some scaffolding and the rows of barbed wire.
The scaffolding's for tanks. It's no obstacle to us. But we shall have to cut the barbed wire. Get the cutters from the hut, Fraser.
Come on, sir.
We shall need something to mark the path as we go along.
What about those little flags the orphans used to put on their sandcastles, sir? There's some of them in the hut, and they're awfully pretty.
Yes, it was a very good idea, Godfrey. Bring some of those as well, Fraser.
I will.
Right. Now, we can't wait for the engineers. We'll start to clear a path. I know I don't have to ask for volunteers, so follow me. Hold on, Pike. We'll soon be with you. Are we all ready?
Yeah.
Right. Stay close.
Arthur, not you.
What?
Don't you go, Arthur.
What are you talking about, Mavis?
I couldn't bear to lose you both. Let the others do it, Arthur.
Well, I can't do that. I mean, there are some things one just has got to do. I mean, otherwise, well, one isn't a man, is one?
We've always managed somehow, Arthur.
Wilson?
I'm coming, sir.
What are you doing, Wilson?
Well, I'm sorry, sir. I'm just having a little chat with Mrs. Pike.
Oh, there's no time for that sort of thing. Right, men. Now, we may have to carry Pike back, so we must clear a path wide enough for the two of us.
Captain Man, sir, I would like to volunteer to clear a path wide enough for the two of us, sir.
Your time will come, Jones.
Let me do the prodding with the bayonet, sir. Let me do the prodding, sir.
No.
I want to do the...
Sergeant Wilson and I will lead. Jones, you and Fraser will follow us.
Aye.
Godfrey will bring up the rear. Godfrey? Where's Godfrey?
He's not here, sir.
Not here? I don't understand.
Do you know? It seems crystal clear to me.
What are you trying to say, Fraser?
Yeah, it's just like I always thought. The first whiff of danger, and he's away like a scared weasel.
You no call to say that, Private Fraser.
Well, he's not here, is he?
Mr. Manager, Private Godfrey is quite frequently in the habit of not being here, on account of he gets caught short.
Yes, of course. He catches up. Now, where's the torch, Wilson?
I haven't got the torch, sir.
I distinctly remember telling you to bring the torch.
The word torch never, ever passed your lips.
You know perfectly well that you're responsible for the torch.
Excuse me, Mr. Manring, but wouldn't this be it, protruding from your behind pocket?
Yes. Well done, Jones. Here, are you shine it, Fraser?
Aye, sir.
Right. Good luck, everybody. Here we go. Now, everyone lie down on the sand.
Aye.
Now then, Wilson, prod the sand in front of you with your bayonet, like this. And before you crawl forward, make sure there's nothing there.
I certainly will, sir.
Soft here. Wilson.
Yes.
You needn't prod every inch of the sand. The mine is at least 8 inches across, you know.
Yes, I know. I just thought it might pay to be rather cautious.
Come on, move up. It's all right.
I think it... No, it's all right.
Permission to speak, sir.
Yes, Jones?
If it wasn't all right, we'd know by now.
Yeah, thank you very much. Right, now let's start marking our route. Hand me a flag.
What sort would you like, sir? Got Swiss ones, Norwegian, Dutch, or you can have this one, sir. I think this one's from the Isle of Man.
That's not an Isle of Man flag. That's a swastika. Certainly not using that.
Well, sir, what about this French one? That's red, white and blue. That's almost British.
All right, that'll do. Right, Ben. Prod away.
Mr. Mannering, sir!
Yes, Pike?
Don't be too long. The tide's coming in.
We'll be as quick as we can. More flags, Jones.
Yes, sir, yes, sir. Here you are, sir. Here you are.
Oh, dear. I'm going to drown. I know I am.
I say...
Oh, who goes there? Friend or German?
It's only me, Frank.
Mr. Godfrey, how did you get here?
Well, it seemed to me that if you could walk along by the water's edge from the bathing gap, that I might be able to, huh? I bought you a pair of water wings in case the others took some time getting you. They might help you keep afloat.
Thank you. Hey, you can't swim yourself, can you?
Oh, it's all right. I bought 2 pair of water wings. I expect you're getting rather cold, so I brought a blanket. There you are.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Godfrey. I don't know what my mum will say if I get a chill.
I think I'd better inflate these water wings just in case.
Keep prodding, man. That's it.
I expect Private Pike is getting a bit anxious.
Yes, I expect he is.
Don't panic, Private Pike! Don't panic!
Jones, what are you doing?
Really, Jones, my nerves won't stand it.
I just give him Private Pike a word of advice and encouragement, sir.
Well, don't. Just shut up.
What is it? Is Frank all right?
What are you doing here, Mrs. Pike?
Well, I heard this terrible cry. I thought something had happened to Frank.
It's all right, Mavis, it's all right. It was only Jones getting a little over-enthusiastic.
Well, it gave me a very nasty turn.
Yes, I'm sorry about that, Mrs. Pike. Now, would you mind returning to the hut? We're in the middle of a very delicate operation. Right, man, keep prodding. Hello? Hello, there's something here.
Could be a stone, I suppose.
Clear the sand away. Let's have a look. Perhaps you can lift it.
Be very careful, sir. Some of these things have booby trap devices to trap boobies.
Don't be quiet. It's metal, all right. It's not very large, though. Just as I thought. It's a mine.
It's a mine. It's a mine. Don't panic. It's a mine. It's a mine. Jones!
Jones, will you be quiet? Just a minute. There's some writing on it. And it's not in English. Shine the light over here, Fraser, will you?
Mm-hmm.
Can you make it out?
Not Nimlo Ot Emme Clue. Must be Russian.
I thought they were on our side.
These are our mines.
Oh, I suppose so they are. Dear, dear, one gets so confused, doesn't one?
Here, let me have a look.
Will you please not interfere with our mine, Mrs. Pike?
You're reading it the wrong way round. It says, welcome to Walmington. It's a child's bucket.
So it is. Very similar shape, of course.
It's nothing like a mine.
Yeah, Mrs. Pike, will you please return to the hut?
I don't see why I should...
Mavis, please.
Oh, very well, then.
More flags, Jones.
Yes, sir. Hold on, sir. Right you are. Coming up.
I must say, we seem to have a good supply.
Well, there weren't many, sir, but with great ingenuity, I've been using them twice.
You've been what?
The old fool is taking out the markers behind us.
Really, Jones?
Oh.
It's awfully tiresome of you.
Oh, never mind. Keep going, men. Nearly with you, Pike. Just got to get through this wire.
Is that right? Just stay where you are, Pike.
I can't do anything else, can I, Uncle Sergeant? I've got a piece of rusty barbed wire sticking in me bum.
Don't be coarse, Pike. Give me the clippers, Fraser.
Here you are.
I'd like to volunteer to clip with the clippers, sir.
Oh, do be quiet, Jones.
I've never known him like this before, Mr. Fraser.
He's worried, you fool.
Why, has he got trouble at home, then?
Nearly there.
Could you clip the bit that's sticking into my you-know-what, please?
Just a minute.
Ooh, ooh.
There.
Oh, you've no idea what a relief that is.
Can you crawl back with us now?
I'll try, but my ankle's terribly painful.
We should have brought a blanket to drag you.
Excuse me, Mr. Manning. Would you care for a cup of tea before you start back?
Godfrey, how did you get here?
When I came along by the water's edge, I thought Pike might be rather frightened here on his own.
But you might have been blown to pieces.
Oh, yes, I suppose so. I'm afraid there's no sugar. It's back in the hut. Oh, and I brought a blanket.
It's a very foolish thing to do, Godfrey. Damn brave, all the same.
A man of steel. A man of steel. I always knew it.
The water's getting awfully close, sir.
Right then, Sergeant. You and me'll drag Pike back on the blanket.
All right.
And I'll lead the way, and I'll keep prodding, sir, in case you've overlooked a mine.
Right. 1, 2, 3, heave!
Oh, Oh, I'll be glad when my mum's got a poultice on it. It was sticking right in. It was all rusty as well. Hey, can you die from rust poisoning?
Oh, do be quiet, Frank.
Wait a minute. I've struck something.
Let me come through. Give me a bayonet, Fraser.
Here.
Thank you. By Jove, it is something.
Frank! Are you all right?
Yes, Mum.
Oh, thank goodness.
Mrs. Pike, I thought I told you to stay in the hut.
I've got a message for you. The engineers have just been on the telephone.
Oh, good. Are they on the way?
They say they're too busy, and anyway, there's no need. There aren't any mines in this part of the beach.
What?
They didn't lay any mines. It's all clear here. So you needn't have gone to all that fuss lying on the wet sand and playing with those silly bayonets.
Well, if there are no mines, what's this doing here?
Good Lord. Good Lord. It is a mine.
So it is.
God.
We must get away from here at once. But don't panic.
That's right. Don't panic, anyone. Don't panic. We struck a mine. Don't panic. Women and children first.
Quite right, Jones. Follow me.
In that episode of Dad's Army, based on the original television series by Jimmy Perry and David Croft, you heard Arthur Lowe as Captain Mannering, John LeMessurier as Sergeant Wilson, Clive Dunn, Corporal Jones, John Lorry, Private Fraser, Arnold Ridley, Private Godfrey, Ian Lavender, Private Pike, and Pearl Hackney as Mrs. Pike. Sergeant Save My Boy was adapted for radio by Michael Knowles and Harold Snowd and produced by John Dias.
Dad's Army from March 1975, bringing to a close Salutes You, Sir, BBC 7's tribute to the comedy commandos, the showbiz sailors and pilots of the Punchline. This has only been a brief snapshot of what emerged from and was inspired by the Army, Navy and Air Force. The performers, writers and producers that emerged from World War II are a legion in themselves, and BBC 7 is now their barrack. I'm Ian Lavender. Thanks for listening.
The Will Hay Programme. Well, once again, we're privileged to introduce to you that model of scholastic understatement, Dr. Muffin, principal of St. Michael's School for Boys, or in other words, Will Hay. Well, so over once more to Dr. Muffin's lodgings at Mrs. Potts' semi-detached bijou residence, where we find that estimable lady at the end of dictating an important letter with the assistance of her troublemaking son, Alfie.
Now, have you got all that down, Alfie?
Yes, Ma.
The only trouble is, how am I going to finish it?
Well, what about sincerely yours, Mrs. Potts?
No, sounds a bit like Vera Lynn.
Well, yours truly, then.
Doesn't sound quite right to me.
I've got it, Ma. Just the thing.
Now, read it back to me, Alfie, quickly, before he arrives.
If you don't, Ma, here goes. To William Muffin, D.R.
DR? What does that mean?
No, this
Doctor?
time... No. This time it means debtor. Dear Sir, in view of the fact that your rent is now 6 weeks outstanding, I must ask you to quit these premises by noon today. You've had it coming to you, and now you've got it. Cordially yours, Eliza Potts, Mrs.
Oh, no, Elsie. You mustn't put that into the letter.
Well, cordially yours? Oh, you must be nice to the old geezer.
No, you can't say you've had it coming to you and now you've got it.
Why not? He's had it coming to him and now he's got it.
Oh, well, you say it's all right, I suppose. Oh, all right. Stick it in the envelope and put it on his plate with his other letter. I only hope it doesn't make him late for school.
It's funny you should say that, you know, because one of his boys, a pal of mine, his name's Smart, he's at the old school of Bob Apiece, the old crumpet, doesn't get in before 10:30 this morning.
Nice goings on. Good thing you don't go to his school.
That's right. Hey, here he is. Look out.
Hey, now put the letter on his plate.
Hi, good morning. Good morning.
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 Oh, letters. Oh, two. Fancy. I wonder who this is from. By hand. Shocking writing. Doesn't know how to address me properly either.
What's it? Come on, Alfie. Come over here. Help me with these things.
Well, good gracious me. Well, fancy anyone writing to me like that.
I don't see why you should look so surprised, Dr. Muffin.
Oh, don't you?
Well, as Elfie says, you've had it coming to you, and now you've got it.
Yes, but I didn't expect as much as this, Mrs. Potts. Rather overwhelming.
Well, have you got any more than you deserve?
If it had been anywhere else, you'd have had it long ago.
Yes.
Yeah, but I didn't expect it at all.
I bet you didn't.
Me slaving myself to the very marrow bones for you.
Well, I'm afraid this letter's got nothing to do with your marrow bones, Mrs. Potts. I didn't know you got any marrow in them. Perhaps I'd better read the letter to you. It says, Dear Dr. Muffin, will you kindly accept the enclosed as a very small token of gratitude for teaching me all I know. It's signed, a grateful ex-scholar of St. Michael's, Sir Frederick Acre.
Ex-scholar? But he's an ex-convict by now.
Ex-convict nothing. Well, you see what heights you can rise to by coming to my school. No limit to what you can become. Look at this one. He's been knighted.
First time I heard you had a night school.
Don't be funny, Alfie.
What's the enclosed? A writ?
Writ? Certainly not. A cheque for £100.
Eh?
Yes. Sir Frederick Acre. I can't recollect a scholar of that name. It was very nice of him to be grateful for teaching him all he knows.
He's probably a card sharper, as you taught him.
Quiet, Elfie.
Well, you certainly never taught him how to spell. Look, he spelled except A-K-S-E-P-T.
Oh, has he?
Yes.
Oh, yes, of course, yes. That should be A-K-C-P-T. Well, anyway, £100 is £100, and he spelt that all right.
Of course.
Well, now I better open the other one. It'd be funny if there was another cheque for the 100 in this, wouldn't it?
Yes, very funny.
Yes. I see. Yes, very funny. Very funny. So I've had it coming to me, now I've got it, eh?
Please, Mr. Muffin, don't take that too seriously.
Yeah, that's right. Ma will have a little joke, you know.
Oh, she will, won't she? Yes, well, in that case, as it's a little joke, of course, no doubt you'd like me to forget all about it.
Yes, but that is no. Well, I mean, forget all about the notice to quit, but...
Yeah, I know. Yes, well, forget all about the £11 I owe you, too.
£13.10.
All right, £13.10. I can forget that just as easy as the 11. In fact, the more it is, the better I like forgetting it.
I don't mean that, Dr. Muffin.
No, I'll bet you don't. Anyway, I'll tell you what I'll do, Mrs. Potts.
Watch him, Ma. He's got that crafty look about him. Watch him.
If I pay you £11...
£13.10.
All right. £13.10. Don't trifle, Mrs. Potts. You've got to take something off.
I beg your pardon?
Well, I know, I didn't mean that, of course. I meant either you reduce my rent 5 shillings a week from henceforth, or I shall take my patronage elsewhere. That's all.
You go, I couldn't afford to keep Elfie at school.
Well, there's a very easy solution to that.
Oh, no, there isn't. You don't catch me going to St. Michael's.
Look, Mrs. Potts, if you make my rent £1 a week, I might arrange something in the nature of a scholarship for Alfie.
Not if I know it.
Oh, very well, then. You pay me what you owe me, and we can discuss future terms.
We don't discuss any school terms for me at his place.
Well, of course, I expect better meals.
I'll do what I can.
Good. Well, now, you take this cheque and let me have the change, and we'll call it a deal.
Oh, but I couldn't do that. I haven't got all that amount of money. Besides, I haven't got a bank.
Well, what's that got to do with it?
Oh, Ma means you have to cash the cheque at a bank.
I know that.
Well, where are you going to? The old lady of Threadneedle Street?
Oh?
Well, I see you're fancy not knowing the old lady.
Listen, I'm not doing any business with any of your old ladies. I'm going to a bank. Well, bye, Mrs. Potts. See you later.
Bye-bye. Son, you're off too, Elfie. You'll be late to school.
All right, Ma, I'm just going.
Right.
Well, so long, old cock. Don't you be late for school.
No, I won't, Alfie. Oh, by the way, what was that expression you, in your mother's letter?
What, you mean, you've had it coming to you and now you've got it?
Yes, that was it, yes. Yes.
Hey, what's that for?
You've had it coming to you, now you've got it, see? day, isn't it?
Yes, it is, rather.
A very nice day for the banking business.
I suppose so, yes.
Would you mind cashing me a cheque?
Certainly, sir, yes, certainly.
It's from an old friend of mine.
Oh.
Yes, he's Sir Frederick Acre. He's a knight, you know, very influential man.
I'm afraid we can't cash this for you.
Why not?
This cheque has been crossed.
Oh, you mean I've been double-crossed?
No, not at all. You notice that this cheque has 2 lines drawn across it with the inscription "and Co." between them.
Oh, I see. You want that little thing there? Oh, I shouldn't worry too much about that.
All the same, I'm afraid we can't take cash for it over the counter.
That's all right. Slip it to me under the counter.
So I mean, this cheque must go through somebody's account before we can cash it.
Go through somebody's account? Oh, no, I'm not going to let my cheque be bandied about by the Tom, Dick and Harry. No. It's paid out to me, besides it's a lot of money.
Maybe you'd like to start an account of your own.
Why, can I do that?
Why, certainly. Would you like a credit or deposit account?
Oh, why, what's the difference?
Well, only a very slight one, of course. With a current account, you can draw the money out, and with a deposit account, you can't.
Oh, I see. You call it a slight difference. Well, I'll take the first one.
Very good. Now, how much would you like to deposit?
Well, what do you mean? How much do you want? You want me to put down some money?
Well, of course, to open the account.
Oh, I'm afraid I haven't got much ready cash with me at the moment.
Oh,
would 11 and fourpence do?
I see. Yes, well, I think that might be arranged. I'll take the cheque as well.
What?
I understand you want it cash.
Oh, of course, yes.
Well, now, I'll let you have a chequebook, you see? And I shall want your specimen signature.
My what?
Specimen signature.
Well, I don't think I've got one of those.
No?
No, but I can sign my name on a bit of paper for you, if that's any good.
You will have your little joke, won't you?
Well, now, what about the chequebook?
Oh, yes. 12, 24, 50, or 100.
Oh, one book will be enough to start with.
Yes, I know that, but how many checks would you like in it?
Well, how should I know?
Well, may I suggest 24?
Suggest what you like.
Well, here you are then, sir.
Good, I'll write a cheque right away.
Write a cheque?
Yeah, for £100.
You can't have that yet. No? I mean, it'll take 3 or 4 days.
What?
And endorse it, please.
Endorse it? What do you mean, say that I've got to wait 3 or 4 days and then go to Dorset for my money?
Not at all, not at all. You mean... the money will be paid into your account, but the cheque has got to be cleared.
Cleared? Oh, why, is it dirty or something?
No, it's got to go through our clearing house. Don't you understand? The cheque has to get back to the account of the person who draws it. Then we draw the money from his account. It is then paid into your account, and then you go and draw it out of your account, which takes about 3 or 4 days.
Oh. Well, why do I have to wait 3 or 4 days?
Because we have to make sure that it is all straight and above board. That is the system upon which our trust bank works.
Trust bank?
Yes.
Doesn't seem to be much trust about that lot, does there?
Well, I'm afraid it can't be helped.
But listen, I don't want to wait 3 or 4 days. I don't ask you to wait 3 or 4 days while I take this cheque to the dry cleaners or whatever you do with it. I think it's a twist.
Well, there is, of course, one way out of your difficulty.
Yeah?
I notice that this cheque is drawn upon one of our own branches. It might be possible for me to get it specially cleared by telephone. Just 1 moment, please. Yes, I want a trunk call, please. Bitchester 177. Thank you, yes, I'll hold on. Of course, you understand that we shall have to make a slight charge for special clearance. Well, dear, natural few shillings, of course. Mere trifle.
Oh, it's all right. Take out 100 quid.
Hello, Bitchester 177.
Lummy, you must have influence. I usually have to dial low and wait half an hour.
This is the cashier of number 23 branch here. I have a cheque for £100 drawn on you on the account of Frederick Acre.
Sir Frederick Acre?
Yes, that's right. A-K-E-R. What's that? Oh, I see. Yes. Oh, very well. Yes. You're quite sure? Thank you.
Right, now then, how do I set about writing out the cheque?
I'm afraid there's been some mistake.
Oh, don't worry about that. I mean, it's all right. I quite understand you've got to be careful. You're only doing your duty, as it were. The
Midchester branch has no account in the name of Frederick Acre.
What?
This must be either R.D. or N.A.
Ah, no, that's where you've gone wrong. Those aren't his initials. It's F. F for Freddy.
No, sir. You misinterpret my meaning.
No, it's not miss anybody at all. It's a man. One of my old pupils, these initials aren't R.A. or N.G. or whatever it was.
Sir,
yes?
I must inform you that R.D. means refer to drawer, and N.A. means no account. I am informed definitely that Sir Frederick Acre has no account with us. Therefore, we cannot honour his cheque.
Well, I'm not asking you to honour it. I'm asking you to cash it.
But I'm trying to explain, sir. We cannot pay you £100 on this cheque.
All right, well, give me £50 to go on with.
But we can pay you nothing.
Nothing? What, not even 5 bob?
Not a penny.
Oh. What's going to be having an account if I can't draw any money?
But you haven't any money in the account to draw, except the 11 and 4pence you opened the account with.
Well, I'll take that.
You mean you'll close the account then?
Close it? Blimey, it doesn't look like it's been open very far, does it?
Oh, very well, sir. I'll just see how much you have to come.
What do you mean, how much I have to come? I've got 11 and 4pence to come.
I'm afraid I've got to deduct the usual charges. Now, let me see. Checkbook 4 shillings, trunk 4, 6 and 4pence, special clearance charge 5 shillings. Is that the figure you make it, sir?
Right, 6 and 4 and 5 and add 4 and carry 2. Yes, that's right.
15 shillings and 4pence?
Yes.
Well, that means you owe us 4 shillings.
What?
Yes, sir. You owe us 4 shillings. Of course, if you'd like to return the checkbook, which is just that value, that would round off the transaction equitably.
And I've got nothing to come at all?
No, sir.
Ah. So you take my 11 and 4pence for telephone calls and other mere trifles?
That's right, sir.
And I don't get the under quid either?
Quite right, sir. In fact, we did you a favour in opening an account for such a small sum as the 11 and 4pence.
Oh, you did me a favour?
Yes.
Yes. Well, will you do me another favour?
Certainly.
Let me pay for the bus, please.
Chumps, you've all lost, see?
Oh, no, we haven't. It's not 10:30 yet.
Oh, yes, it is. I bet you that old crumpet wouldn't be here by 10:30, and he isn't. So you can jolly well pay up.
It's not fair. It isn't 10:30 yet, I tell you.
I'm afraid Smart's right. That clock is perfectly correct by the Greenwich time signal. We have lost. Here's my sixpence, Smart.
Thanks, Waller. Well, come on, you chaps, pay up. A bet's a bet.
Oh, very well. That's my tuck money, John. I don't know how you guessed old Crumpet would be late, though.
You knew.
Of course I knew. I knew he wouldn't be here because I made sure he wouldn't be.
You made sure? How?
Because I sent him to the bank. And the bank doesn't open till 10 o'clock. So by the time he finished there, he couldn't be here by 10:30.
What did you send him to the bank for?
To draw some money.
But he hasn't got any money, has he?
No, but he thinks he has. I fixed that. I pinched a cheque from my old man's chequebook and made it out to old Crumpet for 100 quid.
I see, that was forgery, wasn't it?
Forgery nothing. I signed it with a made-up name. And I caught the old twerp properly. Same as I caught all of you.
You knew he wouldn't be here. And just you let us wager on it. I say, old boy, that isn't cricket.
Well, you don't think I bet on anything that isn't a cert, do you?
Well, it isn't fair. Give me back my tuck money.
Not likely. You keep your hands off me. No, I won't give you your money back. What's the matter with you all?
Davy!
Honest bet.
Davy! Here comes Dr. Muffin.
Morning, boys.
Morning.
Sir.
Well, let's see. What was it I said to my homework last night? You should have all done it anyway. I've given you plenty of time. I came in late today purposely, so you'd get it all done.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, what's that?
I said here.
Oh, did you?
Please, sir.
Yes, sir.
I've done mine, sir.
You what?
I've done mine, sir.
You've done your what?
Oh, yes, sir. Well,
Done what?
pottery, sir.
You done your homework?
Yes, sir.
You haven't.
Yes, sir.
Good gracious me. Boys, Beckett's done his homework. Let's have a holiday, shall we? And what was the subject?
Pottery, sir. Pottery, sir.
Pottery?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I didn't know we took that as a subject here. Haven't been going to a technical school behind my back, have you?
No, sir.
Eh?
No, sir. You told me to do it last night, sir.
Now, look, Beckett, just because I look upon you as a mug, I don't expect you to go home and make one. What exactly did I tell you to do?
You said learn some pottery, sir.
Learn some pottery. Learn some poetry, I say. Would you believe it? Learn some pottery.
Poetry, it's soppy stuff.
Oh, no poetry isn't soppy stuff. It's grand stuff. Inspiring stuff. Look at Casablanca.
That was a film, and it was a smasher, too. You must remember this. A kiss is just a kiss.
Listen, Crosby, I'm not talking about films. I'm talking about the poem which starts, the boy stood...
On the burning duck.
On the burning... The boy stood on the burning deck, whence all but he had fled.
What a chump.
As a matter of fact, he was written to be a hero.
What? Stay on the deck when all the others had scarpered? He must have been off his rocker.
You don't know what you're talking about. In any case, it's Beckett's homework I'm discussing, not yours. What poem did you learn, Beckett?
One by Shakespeare, sir.
Shakespeare? Oh, good. Do you know it?
Oh, yes, sir.
Carry on, then.
I know a bank.
You know what?
A bank, sir.
Yes. So do I, but what's that got to do with poetry?
Please, sir, that's it. I know a bank.
Yes, but do you know any poetry?
Well, sir, I'm trying to tell you. I know a bank.
I'm trying to tell you, too. I don't want to know anything about the bank, you know. It's quite enough I know enough about banks to last me a lifetime.
Please, sir.
Yes, Darcy?
Beckett is not referring to the financial organization, the name of which is derived from the Latin banco or bench, which in its turn is derived from the bench at which the original bank is used to sit, but rather to the sloping portion of rural ground, covered with verdure and fluorescent growth. In other words...
In other words? Are there any other words left?
Beckett means the poem by Shakespeare, the first words of which are...
No, don't tell him. Don't tell him. I want to see if he knows.
Oh, yes, sir. I know a bank.
Oh, Lummy, you back at that bank again?
Now, look,
if you're not careful, you'll be overdrawn.
Look, even I know that's the first line of the song. The poem is, I know a bank whereon the wild thyme grows.
Oh, is that what he's getting at?
Yes.
Well, why didn't he say so? Well, get on with it, Becky. Go on.
Yes, sir. I know a bank whereon please, sir, I forgot it.
You forgot it?
Yes.
We just told you what it is. Well, on the wild time blows or something. Well, go on, get on with it and learn it.
No, sir.
Yes, now, go on. Smart, come on, let's see your homework if you've confiscated and do any.
Well, I have, so fiddledick.
Good.
If you'd come in at the proper time, you'd have caught me napping.
I don't have to come in early to catch you napping.
No, not napping, mapping. M for muffin, drawing a map.
If you please, sir, Smart is referring to the science of cartography.
Science of what? You're referring to what? Science of what, you call it?
Cartography.
Cartography? Oh, I thought he said he was drawing a map.
Yes, sir. That is what the word cartography implies.
Is it really? Cartography, isn't it? I thought that meant drawing carts. Well, I think it does, too. You know, you can't be right every time.
I don't care what Swatter calls it. I was drawing a map of Europe.
A map of Europe?
Yes.
I see. Oh, okay.
Yes?
Well, what's that running down the middle? A fish's backbone?
Fish's backbone? That's a watershed.
It's a long one, isn't it?
Well, there's long uns and short uns.
But you've only drawn the rafters. You have to put the roof on it.
It doesn't have a roof. It's a watershed on the top of the mountain.
Watershed on the top of the mountain?
Yes. These particular mountains are the highest in Europe.
Are they? Well, who put the watershed there?
No one put it there. It's always been there.
Always been there?
Yes.
Ah, that'd be silly. It can't always have been there. In any case, what's the good of a watershed up there?
It has to be there.
Why?
To get the water into the valleys on either side of the mountain.
Oh. Well, why didn't they put the watershed in the valley? Save themselves the dickens of a climb, wouldn't they?
They don't climb up the mountains. As a matter of fact, these mountains are impossible to climb.
No what?
Impossible to climb.
Well, there's a watershed on top.
Certainly.
Well, they must be a bit short of water, aren't they? Would you want to say something, Darcy? Eh?
On the contrary, Certainly, sir. The country is very wet, and the valleys are abundantly watered.
Oh, thank you very much. Perhaps you were good enough to tell us where all the water comes from.
Certainly, sir. To the watershed.
Now, wait a minute. Smart says that no one can climb the mountain.
No, sir.
Then how do they get to the watershed to get the water?
There's no water up there.
Oh.
There's no water in a watershed.
Oh, there isn't?
No.
I see.
You can't get water out of a watershed.
Please, sir.
Yes?
Why not open the door?
Why, do you want to go out?
No, sir. I don't mean this door, sir. I mean the door of the shed.
The door of the shed?
Yes, sir. If you open the door, you could get some water from the shed.
Really? Yeah, the boy's quite right, you know. Why not open the door?
There is no door. Look, I'll start again.
Yes, do, yes, go on.
A watershed is not a shed.
No.
It has no water in it.
No.
There is no door.
No. No, well, that's fine, isn't it? A watershed is a shed which isn't a shed at all. It has no water in it. It's got no door. To make it easy, you stick it on top of the mountain where nobody can get at it.
Please, sir. Perhaps it's prefabricated.
I think, sir, you are confusing the two nouns, water and shed, with the one word, watershed, which does not have a precise connotation of the two separate words. In point of fact, a watershed is merely a term used by geographers to describe a range of mountains, which acts as a central and suitable distribution gathering ground for the manifold streams and brooks which find their origins in the higher regions.
Really? Have you ever heard of Tennyson's brook?
Oh, yes, sir. Men may come and men may go, but I go on forever.
That's exactly what I meant.
Please, sir.
Yes?
I know it now, sir.
You know what?
Upon the pillow he would lay his head, and many a tear because of her would shed.
Because of her woodshed? Look, for 5 minutes we've been talking about watershed. Now, for no earthly reason, you suddenly start talking about woodshed. Why, may I ask?
Because you told me to, sir.
I told you to. Listen, either you're balmy or I am. I didn't tell you to do anything about woodshed.
But you told me to learn it, sir.
Learn what?
Upon the pillow he would lay his head, and many a tear because of her would shed.
I told you to learn that.
Yes, sir. It's my poetry, sir.
Oh, it's your poetry. Oh, I see. Well, all right, go on. What's the rest of it?
Upon the pillow he would lay his head, and many a tear because of her
would shed. That's, I know, I've heard that. Well, what about the... Why didn't you learn this earlier?
I couldn't, sir. We're all busy with the bet.
Yes. Busy with the bet?
Shut up, you little snake.
Yes, sir. Smart bet us all that you'd not be here before 10:30, sir.
Oh.
And you weren't. And we all had to pay him.
It's a lie.
Oh, I see. So he bet you I wouldn't be here for 10:30, did he?
Yes, sir. And it wasn't fair, because he knew you'd been to the bank to cash a cheque.
Yeah. Oh. Oh, so he knew that, did he?
Don't you believe him, the dirty rotter.
And he said he would give you easy because he was such a good faker.
I see. He did me because he was such a good faker. He was such a good what?
Faker, sir.
Faker?
Yes, sir.
Faker? Just a minute. Sir Frederick Aker. F. Aker. Faker. Oh, I see. All right, boys, you may go.
Oh, you wait till I catch you, Beckett. You wait.
Oh, no, not at all. You wait, Smart. Oh, so, you won some money bonds, did you?
Yes.
How much exactly?
11 and 4pence.
11 and 4. Ah, remarkable. We'll hand it over.
Eh?
Thank you very much, Smart.
Here, you're not going to keep it.
I am. That, my dear Smart, is what the bank calls cash in hand. And this is what they call repaid with interest.
Oh!
And you signed yourself Sir Frederick Aker, did you? Well, from now on, you're going to be an acre before I'm done with you.
You've just heard the 5th installment of The Will Hay Show, or The Diary of a Schoolmaster, with Beryl Riggs, Clarence Wright, Dick Francis, Billy Nichols, Charles Horsey, and John Clark. Dr. Muffin, of course, was played by Will Hay, and the dance orchestra was conducted by Stanley Black. Show designed by Will Hay, script by Will Hay, Max Kessler, John Dighton, and James Bundy. Production by Alex Hayes.
National Broadcasting Company presents the College Quiz Bowl, the New Orleans varsity scholars of two great American colleges. Tonight, from New Orleans, Louisiana, Tulane University. Are you there, Tulane? And you will be competing against last week's winner, Northwestern University from Evanston, Illinois. And are you there, Northwestern? Here in Radio City, New York, is your master of the quiz, Alan Ludden.
Hello there, everybody. It's good to have you with us. Welcome to the Intercollegiate Battle of the Brains. Tonight, Northwestern, winner for 2 weeks, is determined to hang on to its crown, while Tulane University has every intention of running the Wildcats right out of the quiz bowl. So, let's meet the teams. First, out to Evanston, Illinois, and the Northwestern referee, WMAQ's popular Charles Chan.
Well, as you've heard, Alan, Northwestern's out in force tonight and eager to chalk up its 3rd victory in a row. And on the team, once again, we have
Virginia Landwehr from Elgin, Illinois.
Frank Plout from Dayton, Ohio. Greg Shooker from Charleston, West Virginia.
Ruth Feldman from Evanston, Illinois.
That's the Northwestern team, Alan, and to cheer them on, they've got a great school. Listen.
Well, that's one of the teams tonight in the College Quiz Bowl. The other one's way down yonder in New Orleans. So let's go down there and hear how they feel about their team at Tulane. Cliff Roberts of WDSU is on hand to serve as Tulane's referee. How are things in New Orleans, Cliff?
Well, Alan, I'll let the Tulane Runners speak for themselves. I think this will give you an idea of how they feel about their varsity scholars.
Well, that's wonderful. Let's meet the team now.
From the Sophie Newcomb College at Tulane University, we have
Glenn Ray Hanneman from New Orleans. And Joan Burlingame from Little Rock, Arkansas.
And from Tulane University,
Eugene Garbuck from Birmingham, Alabama.
And Herbert Weil from New Orleans. And that's the team we think will do what Columbia and Wesleyan failed to do. Beat Northwestern.
Okay, Roger Tuttle, the teams are all set now. What are the rules in this game of wits?
Alan, the quiz is set up to determine how much these varsity scholars know and how quickly they can call upon their knowledge. So, we have toss-up questions, and this is the way they work. Alan Ludden asks a question, and the first team to signal it has the answer gets a chance to answer. If Northwestern signals first, you'll hear. And if Tulane signals first, you'll hear. And by means of a special electronic selector in the buzzer bell circuit, the team which signals first, even by a split second, makes it impossible for the other team's signal to get through. Now, if the team winning a chance at the toss-up question gives a wrong answer, the question then goes to the other team. And whichever team gives the right answer gets a bonus question. Each question is worth a designated number of points. And the team with the most points at the end of the game is the winner and returns next week to defend its title in the College Quiz Bowl. Well, that's the way the game is played, so let's play it.
Okay, now here is the first toss-up question. It is worth 10 points. This toss-up question is worth 10 points. If you get it right, if a school gets it right, it will have a chance at a bonus question which will be worth a possible 50 points. So are you ready? Here we go with our first toss-up question. I'm going to read you a familiar quote. Now, for 10 points, and don't signal until I'm finished, identify its author. A little learning is a dangerous thing. Tulane.
Glen Ray Hanahan.
Okay, Glen Ray.
Alexander Pope.
Alexander Pope, you're right for 10 points for Tulane. For getting that first toss-up question, you have a chance here at a bonus question that could be worth 50 points for Tulane University. Now, here are some families that you all know. But you can, for 10 points per family, give me the first names of all the individual members. You were to give me all of the individual members for 10 points first of the Little Women. Name the 4 March sisters and the Little Women. Anybody on the Tulane team.
Glen Ray.
Meg, Joe, Amy, and Beth.
10 points for Tulane. For 10 more points. You know there are 3 Gabor sisters. 3 Gabor sisters. For 10 points, give me the first names of all 3. Of all 3. You don't know the Gabor?
Herb Weil. Jaja, Eva, and Yvette.
No, it's Zaza, Magda, and Eva. Well, let's see. You've got a chance at another one here. The Brothers Kamartov by Dostoevsky. A novel by Dostoevsky. There are 3 brothers. Karamazov. The Brothers Karamazov.
Gene Gerber.
Dmitri, Ivan, and Alyashka.
You were right for 10 more points. There were 5 Dion quintuplets. For 10 points, name all 5 of them. 5 of the Dion quintuplets.
Glen Ray.
Yvonne, Annette, Emily, Cecile, and Marie.
You are right for 10 points. In the Swiss Family Robinson, there were 4 sons. Can you name the 4 sons in the Swiss Family Robinson? Anybody on the Tulane team? Okay.
No one here, Alan.
I'll tell you, they were Ernest, Francis, Fritz, and Jack. Okay, now back to the toss-up question. Here's one for 10 points. President Eisenhower celebrated a birthday recently. How old is he? Tulane.
Herbert Weil.
63.
You're right for 10 points. Here's a bonus question for Tulane. It could be worth 30 points. First of all, for 10. Name the 4 bodies of water that Florence Chadwick recently swam. Tulane.
Glen Ray.
She swam the English Channel for one.
Yeah.
And the Dardanelles.
Right.
The Strait of Gibraltar.
Right. One more.
And I don't know the
Herb Weil knows.
Catalina out in California last year.
Catalina.
No, recently, just recently, in Europe, the Bosphorus. All right.
Joan Burlingame.
Well, I'm sorry I gave you the answer there. Now, we will skip that, but there are 2 more parts of this question. You might possibly still make 20 points on this question. One of the waters she swam with the Dardanelles. In ancient times, it was known as the Hellespont. Now, for 10 points, can you tell me the English poet who, like Miss Chadwick, swam the Hellespont?
Herb Weil.
Byron.
Lord Byron, you're right for 10 points. Now, for 10 more points, can you name the mythical youth who nightly swam the Hellespont to see the girl he loved?
Gene Gerber.
Oh, Leander.
Leander, that's right. Leander for 10 points. All right, now back to the... Before we get back to another toss-up question, let's find out what the stakes are in this quiz game. Roger Tuttle.
Yes, sir, Alan. Each week, NBC will award to the school of the winning team a $500 gift to be administered by the college. It may go to a scholarship fund or to a campus activity. And each member of the losing team will receive an attractable, dependable Whitnauer wristwatch, a distinguished member of the Longines Whitnauer family of fine watches since 1866, makers of watches of the highest character. Those are the stakes. Now with the score, Tulane 70, Northwestern nothing, and 19 and a half minutes to go, we go back to a toss-up question. But remember, the team answering it correctly gets a chance at a bonus question. Alan?
Okay, let's get this ball back in play. Here is a toss-up question for 10 points. If you went around the globe to the city of Bologna, you'd be in Italy. Now, to what country would you go to find the city of Ham? Tulane.
Joan Burlingame.
Germany.
Germany, you're right for 10 points. Is Northwestern there?
We are.
Okay.
We're just sitting back.
All right. Hang on, Northwestern. Here's a bonus question that could make for Tulane 40 points. They got all the points. It's a music question. We're going to test your alertness now, Tulane. We're going to play the opening bars of some very popular records that you've heard many, many times very recently. Now, from these opening notes, you're to tell us for 10 points each the name of the record that begins that way and the artist who performed the record. Now, that's the trick, the artist, too. All right, see if you can identify this record and artist.
Joan Burlingame.
Okay, Joan, what is it?
Victor Moan and Ebb Tide.
No, I'm sorry, Joan. Here it is. This is what it was. Okay.
Mills Brothers with You.
Yeah, it was the Ames Brothers with You, but you missed it. But try it on this one. Here's the beginning of another record you may recognize.
Joan Burlingame.
Joan, who is it?
It's Ebb Tide.
But what is the artist? What is the orchestra?
Percy Faith.
No, I'm sorry. It's Frank Checksfield. Frank Checksfield. Ebb Tide, you're right. It is, but it's Frank Checksfield. You must know the artist. See if you can identify this record and the artist who sings it. Do you know? Who's going to sing in just a second?
It seems, Alan, as if no one at Tulane does.
They will in a minute.
With these hands.
Who is that? It's too late for a point. That's Eddie Fisher, of course, singing With These Hands. Now, see if you can identify the record that begins with this. This was popular not quite so recently. Okay, does anybody know that record down in Tulane? Well, that was Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, sung by Guy Mitchell with Mitch Miller's orchestra. Okay, we're going back now to the toss-up question. Then let's stop for the score in time. Mr. Tuttle.
Right now, Alan, it's Tulane 80 points, and Northwestern, as Charles Chan said, is still standing by with 16 and a half minutes to go.
16 and a half minutes to go. Here's a toss-up question for 10 points. We know that Christ was born at Bethlehem. Name the river where he was baptized. Northwestern.
Ruth Feldman.
The Jordan.
The Jordan River for 10 points. With that toss-up question goes a bonus question that could net you 35 points. Winston Churchill, Nobel Prize winner for 1953, has recently completed the 6th volume of his World War II memoirs. We'll give you 20 points if you can name any 4 of those 6 volumes. The team can work as a team. Any 4 of the 6.
The Gathering Storm is one.
All right, that's one. That's one. Anybody else from the team know anybody else? Any other one? Okay, the time's up. The Closing the Ring, The Gathering Storm, The Grand Alliance, The Hinge of Fate, Their Finest Hour, and finally the 6th, Triumph from Tragedy. Now, you still have a chance for 15 points if you can name the romantic novel Sir Winston wrote back in 1900. The romantic novel by Sir Winston Churchill. Possible 15 points, Northwestern.
Afraid not.
Okay, if you'd have just said Savrola, you would have gotten 15 points. Let's go back to a toss-up question. Here it is. Are you ready? On July 11th, 1804, 2 pistol shots were fired in Weehawken, New Jersey. For 10 points, who fired them? Northwestern.
Ruth Feldman.
I believe it was Hamilton and Aaron Burr.
You were right. For 10 points, Northwestern. Okay, here's a 30-point bonus question that you got as a result of winning that toss-up question. We're going to turn our eyes to the sky, and for 10 points each, I want you to identify the largest planet in the solar system. Anybody in Northwestern?
Greg Shooker will take that one.
Okay,
Jupiter.
Jupiter. Did you say Jupiter?
Yes, I did.
You're right for 10 points. For 10 more points. The planet nearest the sun. The planet nearest the sun.
Ruth Feldman.
Mercury.
Right for 10 points. For 10 more points. The planet which is second in order of distance from the sun. Second in order of distance.
Ruth again?
Ruth?
Neptune.
No, Ruth.
No, Uranus.
Venus.
Uranus.
Venus. Who said Venus?
I said Venus.
You said right for 10
I was thinking
points.
the other side.
All right. Roger, will you give us the score in time?
Yes, sir, Alan. Right now, the score stands Tulane 80 points, and Northwestern is creeping up with 50 points, and there's 13 and a half minutes to go.
All right, now may I tell you for this next toss-up question, we have a 10-point bonus question. Here's the toss-up question. Who was the father of the present Duke of Windsor? Tulane.
Joan Burlingame.
Joan.
Edward VII.
No, I'm sorry, it was King George V. King George V.
Whoa. We needed a chance at that question, Alan.
You certainly did. I gave the wrong
And
answer.
we had it.
Well, let me give you another one right now. Here is a toss-up question. I think the only thing to do in this case is to give another toss-up question of 10 points, open only to Northwestern for 10 points. Here's an English novel. This is just for Northwestern, a chance at 10 points. If they get it right, they will get the bonus question. Here's an English novel published in 1852. The plot revolves around a lawsuit, Jarndyce versus Jarndyce. For 10 points, tell us the title of the book. The title of the book, published in 1852. A lawsuit, Jarndyce versus Jarndyce. Anybody in Northwestern?
No sale.
Heard not.
No sale. Okay, we'll have to move along. Here's... Oh, the title of the book was The Bleak House by Charles Dickens. I'm sorry. All right, here is a toss-up question that's tossed up in the air to both schools. Recently, the Louisiana Purchase again made headlines. For 10 points, tell us why. Northwestern.
Ruth Feldman.
Well, is something the matter?
No.
In New Orleans recently, President Eisenhower reenacted the signing of the purchase. He took the part of Jefferson.
You're right for 10 points, and for doing it, you get a chance at a 25-point bonus question. Here are some famous pairs, and I mean P-A-I-R-S. I'll name one, you match its mate. 5 points for each one you get right. Lancelot and who?
Elaine.
Elaine for 5 points. Sacco and
Vanzetti.
for 5 points. Tweedledum and Tweedledee. Lunt and
Fontaine.
Fontaine for 5 points. In the title of the Greek pastoral, it's Daphnis and
Chloe.
Chloe for 5 points. Roger, will you give us a score in time?
Alan, it's reversed itself a little bit now because Tulane has 80 points and Northwestern has climbed ahead of them by 5 points at 85 with 11 minutes to go.
11 minutes to go. All right, we're going to move right along to the next toss-up question. For 10 points, who discovered insulin? Who discovered insulin? Tulane.
Herbert Wilde for Tulane.
Watchman?
No, sorry, can you take it, Northwestern? Can you?
Greg Shooker wants to try. I think it was Pasteur, but was it?
Oh.
It wasn't Pasteur.
No, I'm sorry. It was Sir Frederick Grant Banting. All right, here's the toss-up question. For 10 points, tell us who wrote A Thing of Beauty is a Joy Forever? Tulane.
Eugene Garber.
John Keats.
John Keats in the Endymion. All right. For that, you get a 10-point bonus question. Here it is. A woman made history at the Battle of Monmouth during the Revolutionary War. Who was she, and what did she do?
Joan.
Molly Pitcher, and she carried water to the soldiers over the line.
You're right for 10 more points, Tulane. Here's the toss-up question. The mayor of Cleveland, Ohio, has been appointed to succeed the late Senator Taft as United States Senator.
Glenn Ray Hanneman? I'll get it yet.
Nolan.
No. This is a bonus question, isn't it?
Wait, now, this is not a bonus question.
No.
This is a toss-up question.
Northwestern wants it.
All right, just a minute.
We answered down here, didn't we?
The Northwestern light lit. Northwestern, you take it. The senator who succeeded Senator Taft.
Crazy Frank Blount.
Okay, Crazy Frank.
Mayor Burke of Cleveland.
You're right for 10 points. right, here's a bonus question worth 15 points. It's a simple problem in mathematics. Get your pencil and paper ready. You are to take the number of Frenchmen who can't be wrong. Add the title date of George Orwell's futuristic novel. Subtract the number of hits Billy Martin made in the recent World Series. And for 15 points, give me the numerical answer. I'll run it again slowly for the audience. The number of Frenchmen who can't be wrong. Add the title of George Orwell's futuristic novel. Subtract the number of hits Billy Martin made in the recent World Series. And for 15 points, give us the numerical answer.
Well, we've got all kinds of hands up
We'll
there.
give it a try here.
Okay.
Frank Klaus.
Well, 50 million Frenchmen can't be wrong, and 1984 is the title of the novel, and 12 hits, I believe, and if you add 1984 and subtract 12, it's 50 million. Wait a minute, let's go through this again. 50 million. 1,972.
50 million, 1,972 for 15 points for Northwestern. Roger, will you give us the score and time?
Alan, it seems to be a seesaw battle because Northwestern has climbed ahead now 110 to Tulane's 100 points with 8 minutes to go.
Okay, here's a toss-up question worth 10 points. One of the big Eastern football games of the day was the Columbia Army game. For 10 points, give us the final score. Tulane.
Herb Weil. Army won it 40-7.
40-7, Army. You're right. Here's a bonus question worth 25 points. Possible 25 points. Besides newly appointed Chief Justice Warren, there are 8 other Supreme Court justices. You'll get 10 points if you can name 5, and 25 points if you can name all 8. Work as a team.
Herb, Frankfurter, Burton.
Okay.
Black.
Right.
White. Reed. Douglas. That's 5, right?
That's 5. That's 10 points. Can you name all? If you'll name all 8, you'll get 25. You have 3 to go. Okay, time's up. You missed Tom Clark, Robert Jackson, and Sherman Minton. For 10 points, though, you did name 5. Here is a toss-up question. For 10 points, spell the last name of the United Nations Secretary General. Tulane.
Herb Weil again. We'll try it.
Okay.
Hammershjold.
That's wrong. Can you take it, Northwestern?
Yes, Greg Shuker.
All right.
I think it's Hammarskjold.
You're right, Greg Shuker. 10 points for Northwestern. For getting that, you get a bonus question worth 30 points. It's a music question. We're going to play 3 classical compositions, all of which are dances of one sort or another. Now, you're to name the composition and give us the composer's name for 10 points each. All right. Can you identify?
We think it's a Strauss waltz.
I'm sorry, it's the Dance of the Hours from La Gioconda by Ponchielli. All right. See, this is another one. This is a music composition with dance. A dance of one sort or another. Can you identify?
Greg Shuker. That's from the Nutcracker Suite, The Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy.
10 points for Northwestern. Here's another dance for 10 points.
Ruth Feldman.
Oh, that's Anitra's dance from...
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. Dance Macabre.
10 points for Northwestern. Dance Macabre by Sanson. All right. Will you give us the Roger? Roger, will you give us the score in time?
I certainly will, Alan. Right now, Northwestern is leading 140 points to Tulane's 120 points, and we have 5 minutes to go.
5 minutes to go. Here's the kickoff question. 10 points. What proverb is hidden underneath this elaborate language? A languid ventricle never obtained comely female. Northwestern. Ruth Feldman.
Faint Heart, number 1, Fair Lady.
For 10 points, Northwestern. Here's a bonus question that could earn you 25 points. We want you to give us the much publicized hometowns of the following well-known personalities for 5 points each. Harry S. Truman. 5 points. Joe DiMaggio.
San Francisco.
5 points. Jack Benny.
Waukegan, Illinois.
5 points. Rocky Marciano.
New York.
Nope. Brockton, Massachusetts. And finally, Meredith Wilson.
Iowa.
But what's the town? What's the town?
Mason City, I think.
You're right for 5 points, Northwestern. Score in time, Roger.
Right now, the score, Northwestern 170 points, Tulane is 120 points, and we have 3.5 minutes to go.
For 10 points. 10 points is a toss-up question. Name the first capital of the Confederacy. Tulane.
Richmond, Virginia.
Oh, how about it, Northwestern? Can you take it? The first capital.
New York.
Ruth Feldman is excited.
No, not
Come in, Ruth.
I thought I
capital
had
of the Confederacy, sorry. You had your chance, you missed it. It's Montgomery, Alabama. Here's a toss-up question. 10 points. Give me the full name of Anna in the book, Anna and the King of Siam. Tulane.
Glen Ray.
Anna Lee Owens.
Anna Lee Owens for 10 points. You're right, you have a chance. You won a chance at a 15-point bonus question. Recently, 500 British workmen went out on strike because they were prohibited from brewing tea on the job. Historical events of perhaps greater magnitude have been associated with the word tea. Can you identify the following for 5 points? A famous act of revolt.
Joan Burlingame.
Boston Tea Party.
That's right for 5 points. Now, for 15 points, or for 10 points, an incident that took place in 1922 concerned with the leasing of oil fields near Casper, Wyoming, for 10 points.
Glen Ray.
The Teapot Dome scandal.
10 points for Tulane. All right, here we go with a toss-up question. For 10 points, now think back to your ancient philosophers. This man produced works on philosophy, government, and science. Plato was one of his teachers, and he himself taught Alexander the Great. Who is he? Northwestern.
Ruth Feldman.
Aristotle.
Aristotle for 10 points. All right, here's another. You want a bonus question of 15 points. This is a problem in simple mathematics. Actually, we'll test your knowledge of classical music, so get your pencil and paper ready. You are to take the number of Mozart's Jupiter Symphony. Add the number of symphonies written by Brahms. Divide by the number of symphonies written by Beethoven. And for 15 points, give me your numerical answer.
Well, one of them. Which one is it going to be? Greg Sugar.
This is, we're on 5. The numerical answer is 5, and you're right for 15 points. Quickly, I'll break that down. Mozart's Jupiter Symphony number 41, plus 4 symphonies by Brahms equals 45, divided by 9 symphonies written by Beethoven, and he got 5 right. Okay, here's a toss-up question. For 10 points, place this quote. A soft answer turneth away wrath. Tulane.
Glen Ray.
I think it's from the Bible.
You're right from the Bible. For 10 points, you get a bonus question that could be worth 30. I'll give you the name of an author. I want you to give me the title of one of his books which contains some kind of food in the title. 10 points for each right answer. John Steinbeck.
Grapes of Wrath.
Right for 10 points. Ignazio Silone. Ignazio Silone.
The Blackberries.
No.
A jug of wine.
Oh, you're almost right. The correct title would be A Handful of Blackberries. All right, here's one more for 10 points. R.D. Blackmore. This is a trick one. R.D. Blackmore. R.D. Blackmore wrote a book called Lorna Doone, which could be called food, I guess. All right, here's a toss-up question for 10 points. What did the 4 following gentlemen do together?
Alan, I'm sorry, the time's up. That's all the time we have. But the game's over for this week. And the final score in tonight's College Quiz Bowl is 165 points for Tulane and 195 points for the winner, Northwestern. For fielding the winning team tonight, Northwestern University will receive a $500 gift to be administered by the college. And these varsity scholars from Northwestern will return next week to compete in this new All-American quiz game with the varsity scholars of the University of Minnesota at Minneapolis, Minnesota. To each member of the Tulane team, it's our pleasure to award an attractive and dependable Wittnauer wristwatch, a distinguished member of the Longines Wittnauer family of fine watches. Since 1866, makers of watches of the highest character. Now here once again is your master of the quiz, Alan Ludden.
Congratulations to Northwestern again, and again, may I say now, to Tulane, to Glenn Ray Hanneman, to Joan Burlingame, to Gene Garber, and Herbert Wild. You did a great job. You did a wonderful job. Next week, Northwestern meets Minnesota, and in the weeks to follow, we'll have varsity scholars from Radcliffe College for Women, University of Wisconsin, and other outstanding colleges and universities all over the nation. Be with us next week and every week for an exciting quiz game here in the College Quiz Bowl. Now, this is Alan Ludden saying see you tomorrow on Weekend, and so long, everybody.
Your referees tonight were for Northwestern, Charles Chan of station WMAQ in Chicago, and for Tulane, Cliff Roberts of station WDSU in New Orleans. College Quiz Bowl is an NBC Radio Network production and is produced by John Moses and Don Reed, directed by Ken McGregor. This is Roger Tuttle speaking.
Adventure, intrigue, mystery, romance, starring Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall. Together in the sultry setting of tropical Havana and the mysterious islands of the Caribbean. Bold Venture. Once again, the magic names of Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall bring you Bold Venture and a tale of mystery and intrigue.
Is your name Slate Shannon?
That's right. And this is Miss Duval.
I'm very happy.
Then I'm happy, too. Hello.
My name is Cameron. I have a plantation outside of San Tomas. Sugar.
Sugar? For the time being, just call me Sailor.
What can we do for you, Mr. Cameron?
I've never come to a man and begged before in my life.
Well, then you've come to the wrong man. You don't have to beg anything from me.
It's about a girl. A young girl. Wild, impetuous, and spoiled.
No thanks. Mr. Shannon already has one.
Sailor, why don't you go and put a new point in our desk pen?
Where am I going to get a new point? Post office is closed.
Please. It's about my daughter. It's about Kathy. Kathy and the Blue Moon.
Oh, yes. There's a gambling ship in the bay called the Blue Moon. Look, if you're a man in trouble, I'll listen to you. If all you want to do is hire someone to spank your daughter for gambling, get yourself somebody else.
There's nobody else can do what I want you to do.
You haven't told Slate yet what it is. Maybe he won't.
Do you mind if I make my own decision, Sailor? Go ahead, Mr. Cameron.
Kathy's involved with a man named Norton.
Oh, yes, I've heard of him. He owns the Blue Moon. How did your daughter get mixed up with a guy like that?
I don't know. All I know is that since she's met him, she's changed. She's a stranger to me. She's on that boat all the time.
I have an easy solution. Why don't you just tell Mr. Norton to buy your daughter from the boat?
I've tried that. He laughed in my face. He told me...
Hold it a minute. Sailor, there's a guy over there at the cigar counter. Take care of him. Well, go ahead, Sailor. I'll remember every word Mr. Cameron says and tell you later. All right, Cameron?
Well, Norton knows something about Kathy I don't. I know my daughter. It's more than just a lust for gambling. Please, will you help me, Shannon? Go there, talk to Kathy. Convince her that she need never go back to that ship again. Please, I'll give you anything.
Put your wallet back. Your daughter's in trouble with Norton. I'll try to straighten her out.
You don't understand, Shannon. I'm a rich man.
When I bring Kathy back, you'll give me a box of lump sugar?
You're not too loud, Paul. You disturb our boss.
Tell Greg I want to see him.
Our boss sleeps. His brain goes all the time. He needs rest.
Wake him up, Mickey. I've got something for him.
I don't wake our boss till he asks me.
Wake me up, Mickey. Who wants me?
It's your croupier, Paul. The wheel junkie says he's got something. He can keep it to himself till you get your share of sleep, boss.
Let him in.
Our boss says for me to let you in. I'll let.
You have something for me, Paul? Well, give it to me, but make it tender because I just woke up.
I was in Shannon's place a little while ago.
And you had fun. Rub my neck, Mickey. There's a crick in it.
Yeah, thanks, boss.
Oh, that's good. That's very good.
There was someone else there. Kathy Cameron's father.
Now the other side, Mickey.
He's sick with worry about his daughter. Wants Shannon to take her away from you.
You three must have made a jolly group.
They were so wrapped up in it, Shannon, his girl, Cameron, they thought all I wanted was to buy a pack of cigarettes.
You're a good boy, Paul. The thing of many talents.
Shannon's coming out here to the boat. I thought you'd need to know.
Paul's a good boy, isn't he, Mickey?
I'm better for you, boss. He can't do the things for you I can do. He can't...
Of course he can't, Mickey. Nobody can. That's why I keep you around, isn't it?
See? That's why he keeps me around. That's why...
Sure, Mickey. So they want to take Kathy away from me. And Kathy will never leave me.
Because I fixed it that way, didn't I, boss?
Mm-hmm. Because you threw yourself in front of her car because she thought she'd killed you. That's why you've got to keep out of her sight, because for as long as she thinks you don't exist, she belongs to me. Till I use her up. Her and her daddy's money. And so clean. She loses it to me at the roulette table. Clean and legitimate.
Boss, this Shannon could...
No one's going to spoil it, Mickey. Not a well-paying corpse like you. I give you my word.
Look through the porthole, Greg. That's Shannon's boat coming alongside.
Go hold his hand, Paul. Then bring him to me. I want to tell him how he can't part two sweethearts like Kathy and me. You do me and my gambling ship great honor, Miss Duval, Mr. Shannon.
Your boy brought us to you. We asked for Kathy Cameron.
He didn't want to deny me the pleasure of meeting you two. He has standing orders to deliver to me first the illustrious, the renowned.
You see, Slate? I keep telling you that's what we are. You never believe me. Go on, Mr. Norton. You were saying...
That I would have shuddered if you came aboard and deprived me of yourselves.
Gee, you're smooth, Mr. Norton. The way you talk. The waxed mustache. That's the only word for you. Smooth.
So you saved yourself a shudder, Norton. Now, is it all right if we go find Kathy?
She may not care for you disturbing her at the gambling table. Now, what did you want with Miss Cameron?
We're going to take her back to Havana with us, Norton, because her father's lonesome for her. He's a funny guy. He thinks his daughter ought to spend more time at home. Any objections? I only asked you because you stuck your nose in.
No objections. I only fear for you.
You think you can stop me?
I know I can. However, Miss Cameron is in the casino on A deck. And please sign the guest book. I'll want something to remember you by.
Number 12 on the black. Black pays, 12 pays.
Miss Cameron?
What?
Mind if we talk to you?
Place your bets, ladies and gentlemen. Place your bets.
Do you mind if we talk to you?
Go away.
Oh, I can't do that, Miss Cameron.
Why don't you two try the poop deck? It's a good place to jump from.
Jump from? Oh, your preposition is dangling, Kathy. Your father must have picked the wrong finishing school for you.
My father? Oh, it made me miss my bet.
Sailor.
I know. You want me to kibitz that hot game of old maid over there.
Come on, Kathy. Let's get some air, you and I.
Oh, you're hurting my arm.
It's an advice I use to make myself clear. Come on.
I made a suggestion to you before concerning the poop deck. Or if that doesn't suit you, why don't you try it from this rail?
Now, you're just a kid, Kathy. You've got to grow up a little more before that kind of talk becomes you.
Oh, you think I'm a kid?
19, 20? Kids that old and women over 40 use lipstick the way you do.
Another suggestion. A girl 19 is better for you. Want to know why? I'll put my arms around you and show you.
Hey, take it easy.
And hold you. Okay, Norton.
Yeah! Ah. Did you notice, Miss Cameron? I only had to do it once, right in back of the neck.
Get him out of here.
I think I'll give him back to Miss Duval. Don't you think I'm considerate?
Mr. Slate, he stood on moonlit deck. Man from behind hit him in he neck. Lady Sailor, she bring from ship Blue Moon her winnings to date, Mr. Slate in a swoon. Because they tried to do one very good deed, bring daughter back to father who cried his need. He waved at them a face full of woe. Mr. Slate, he said, don't cry, I go.
You see, Slate, you didn't make such a hobby of helping people, this never would have happened to you.
Yeah, that's just what a fellow needs at a time like this, Sailor, a kind word.
Now you are hurt, Mr. Slate, because you love a good deed too much?
Yeah. I live for the moment when I can bring a wandering girl back to her daddy.
Let Norton have her. I don't think I could go through this again.
You go through with it.
Your neck is my neck. I read that once in a poem.
I'm going back to the Blue Moon, Sailor. Mend me real nice because I got some things to do there. I want to look good.
If you go back, they'll kill you. Those were Norton's parting words to me. He said, tell him not to come back. Next time, I'll give him to you in pieces. You're a complicated man, Slate. I could never put you back together again.
Give me another whiff of your smelling salts, Sailor. That ringing noise is back in my skull.
You're a ham bone. That's the telephone. Shannon's place, Sailor Duval.
Mr. Shannon, please.
Oh, It's for you, Slate, the man who grows sugar. He's in a tizzy. Anyway, he makes sounds like a tizzy.
I'll let you know. Slate Shannon speaking.
Forget it, Mr. Shannon. Forget ever I'll call on you. I don't need you any longer.
Where are you, Mr. Cameron?
I'm at home. But you're not to come here. You're not to...
Get me a clean shirt, Sailor. I've got to see a man who doesn't need me.
Shannon, I told you...
What's this all about, Cameron?
Did anyone follow you here?
I didn't bother to look. Let's go inside.
If they followed you...
Inside. Norton's got you scared too, huh?
You don't know what you're doing coming here.
Who did he threaten? You or your daughter?
Get out of here.
You made a big noise when I first met you, Cameron. Now all I hear is chicken. Your daughter needs help. What happened to all your worry about her?
I'll kill you. I'll kill you.
You're kidding.
Oh, let go of me.
You're going to calm down. There. That's better. Now, don't let us throw you. It's just a matter of age and condition.
They'll kill her.
Now, they won't kill her. That's not what you're afraid of.
Yes, yes.
They're taking all your money through her. Killing you would be a safer investment. That way, they'd get the money a lot faster.
I don't want to die.
Well, neither do I. You started something with me. Now it's got to be finished.
To Bold Venture, our stars Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall, and the second act of our story.
I give you 2 words, Slate. You're crazy.
Yeah, I get psychotic when I'm beat over the head. Now, look, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Go get some sleep.
I've gotten better prizes than you in the bottom of a Cracker Jack box.
Why don't you do what I tell you?
Look, if you tried to handle the bold venture now, you'd drive her into the rocks. In your condition,
Who's got a condition?
The man said he'd kill you if you came out to the Blue Moon again. He said that... Aren't you going to help me aboard our boat? All right. Sometimes I wonder why I even bother. I had a spaniel once who had better manners than you. Talk to me, Slate.
Out of the way. Come on. Now, you're going to give me trouble.
Who are you talking to?
Out of the way. Sailor,
What do you want?
come here. Look at the motor. Wires all over the place.
Someone's come aboard.
Who's there? I can't see your face. Who is it?
But you can see my gun, can't you?
Who are you?
How about you, Mr. Vaughn? Can you see it?
Move it a little to the left. Thanks. My, it's pretty in the moonlight.
If you get that boat fixed, take it north. If you take it south, you might get too close to the Blue Moon. Then everything will blow up in your face.
I've been pushed around long enough. I've got about...
And next time, I'll put the bullet into your head, Shannon, instead of into the woodwork of your boat. Want to try? No? See, you can be sensible. Good night, mechanics.
You do yourself nicely on my money, Paul. Your apartment, charming. The decor, excellent taste. And now that I've performed the amenities, you have something for me?
It'll take Shannon a long time to fix his boat.
And you convinced him not to annoy us anymore?
It's hard to tell with a man like Shannon.
Yes, you're ever so right. And it's up to you, my dear Kathy. If Shannon should discover you're a murderess, a hit-and-run killer, they'd take you away from me. And that would make you desolate, wouldn't it?
You wanted me to do something? Just tell me. Don't claw at me like a fat cat.
Emotions have their way with you, don't they, my dear? All right. Call Shannon's place. Ask for Miss Duval. Tell her to come here because you need her so desperately. In 10 minutes. You do need her, Kathy. So you won't waste your precious life away in prison.
Shannon's place, Sailor Duval speaking.
This is Kathy, Miss Duval. Kathy Cameron. Is Mr. Shannon there?
No, he's sitting up with a sick boat. He's apneic.
Good. Listen, you must come here alone. 16 Paseo Gomez, apartment 12. In 10 minutes, if it matters to you whether I live.
Well, that's the other side of town. How do I get there this time of night? There are no cabs. What do I do? Wave a wand over a pumpkin?
Oh, you must. Please, find a way.
Well, maybe King Moses will lend me his jalopy. What's wrong, Kathy? Why do you want...
In 10 minutes, Mr. Val. The way you wanted it, Craig?
Your choice of words was exquisite, my dear. And it is a matter of whether you live.
Dum da dum dum da da. Hey, watch out! You crazy fool! Look, I didn't see you. Oh, you're hurt, aren't you? I'll go get help.
Hey there.
I'm mighty glad to see somebody. This man ran...
I saw what happened.
Get a doctor, will you?
Your car was weaving from side to side. You ran this man down.
What are you talking about? He just ran out in front of the car.
And you tried to run away. If I hadn't stopped you, you'd have just left the man lying there.
You know something?
You don't have anything to worry about as long as you listen to me.
You know something? Now your voice fits your face. First it was your face. You spin the wheel on the Blue Moon. And your voice happened a little while ago, aboard our boat. Wait a minute.
It doesn't matter who I am. You hit that man.
Ouch! Hey, you out of your mind, lady?
Did I pinch you too hard? You're supposed to be dead.
Hey, we got a clever one on our hands, Paul.
Yeah. She's done being clever. Throw her in the car, Mickey. The boss will tell you where to throw her after that.
Welcome, Mr. Slate. I got coffee perking for you in the kitchen.
Thanks, King. You didn't have to wait up for me.
What I have and have not to do, Mr. Slate, is my own affair. I go bring your coffee.
Oh, no coffee. Stay here, King. Sing to me. Right now, I need sleep.
I do not think sleep will come to you, Mr. Slate.
You just sit there and watch it.
It will not come because Miss Sailor is not here.
You watch the Rome of Anna this time, and I'd let her. I got other things on my mind.
2 hours ago, there came a phone call. Miss Sailor scribble address on pod, borrow my auto. Here is the address. I think you better go look for her, Mr. Slate.
Because you're afraid she'll abscond with that heap. Take $20 out of the register, King. That'll take care of it.
Because the call came from Miss Kathy Cameron.
Huh?
I told you sleep would not come, Mr. Slate.
You banging on the right door, mister?
Yeah. Banging on the right head. Oh! Now we'll drag you inside. Come on, up on your feet. Get with it, Buster. Start talking.
What's the matter with you?
Up. This is where we were 10 seconds ago. Start talking.
Not gonna get you anyplace, Shannon.
You know my name. That's for taking the liberty. What did you do with Sailor?
Blue Moon. She's there.
How come she's there? You're going to answer me, Buster, because you happen to be fresh off the Blue Moon. You're the guy who spins the roulette wheel.
Tried to frame her. Didn't work.
How?
Make like hit and run. Blackmail. Little guy, Mickey, used to make a living at it. Run in front of the car, make out he's hurt. People get scared. Pay off.
Sailor was too smart.
Didn't bite.
Same gambit you pulled on Kathy Cameron, huh?
Get out of it, Shannon.
You know, for a guy who spins a roulette wheel all day, how come you keep one in your apartment?
Hobby.
Uh-huh. Hobby. And you'll enjoy this. I read where a croupier in Monte Carlo practiced and practiced. He got good. He could put that ball in the black slot or the red slot almost every time he wanted.
You're buying grief.
He couldn't do it every time, but his average was great.
All right.
Like you and Norton are doing to Kathy Cameron. Blackmailing her on a hit-and-run caper. She pays off by playing the wheel, loses money every night. Knows it's rigged against her and can't do anything about it.
Stealing money legal.
Uh-huh. Because I woke you from a deep sleep. Oh! I give it back to you. Hey, amigo. Your boat for hire?
Let me hear a number, senor.
$5.
Not the right number. Try Carlos with the catboat.
$10.
Put your money where my hand is.
Here, $8 and change. The Blue Moon, skipper, she's anchored a few miles out.
First, I count the change.
Look, you.
You want the Blue Moon, senor? Then let me count the change. 97, 98, 99. Oh, here is the other penny. You almost didn't make it, senor. You want I should wait for you, senor?
Yeah, wait.
I give you a hand up the side.
Now, there's rope hanging down from the side. Just hold the end of it. I'm going up hand over hand. And now, pick a cabin, Shannon, and see how your luck is. Sailor. Sailor. Sailor.
Hey, it's the middle of the night.
Yeah, isn't it, though? I'll get back to you. Sailor,
Is that you, Slade?
let me in.
I can't. The door's locked.
You got a hairpin?
What's the matter? Night wind playing hard with your hairdo?
Slip it under the door.
All right, here. Where did you learn how to pick a lock?
A friend of mine taught me. Gee, that reminds me, I owe her a letter. Oh, stay like this, sailor. It's been too long since I felt your arm against my cheek.
Just think. All this while, there's only been a hairpin between...
Get back in there, sailor. Get your hair up. I'll be back.
Get away, Shannon. You made a mistake, Shannon. I'm going to find you in that boiler room and kill you. I see you, Shannon. Well, I've got to hand it to you, Shannon. You tried. Too bad you had to die on a coal pile. You almost...
Come on down to the coal pile with me.
I'll brain you.
Start with this. I can still hear you. Can't hear you anymore now, Norton.
Slade, are you all right?
Look, I spoiled the nice clean shirt you washed for me.
I'll wash your other one.
First, there's a couple of guys on this boat. I've got to collect them for the police.
What about Kathy?
She's got nothing more to worry about. Her father can get her.
Well, it happened again, Slade. You did your good deed, and you got your lumps for it. Don't you get tired of it.
Till the next time. Let's get out of here, sailor. She's all fixed, sailor. The last wire's in place. The Bold Venture's going to run like a dream.
Fine. Where are we going?
I didn't say we were going anyplace. I just said the Bold Venture'd run like a dream. You want to hear it?
If it makes you happy.
All right. Wait till you hear that motor purr.
What kind of a dream does that sound like?
I had it running a minute ago.
Let me try.
What'd you do to it?
Touched it gently. You want to see how? See? Your eyes, your cheeks, your lips. You purr too, don't you?
Full speed ahead, sailor. There's a smooth sea tonight.
And so our two stars, Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall, have brought to a close our latest Bold Venture story. Special music was composed and conducted by David Rose. May we invite you to listen again next week at this time for another exciting adventure starring Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall together in Bold Venture.
Adventures by Morse. Carlton E. Morse presents The City of the Dead, featuring Captain Friday.
If you like high adventure, come with me. If you like the stealth of intrigue, come with me. If you like blood and thunder, come with me.
2:00 on the morning of the third day in the City of the Dead. 3 nights and 2 days have been spent in this old abandoned cemetery. This is the morning of the third day. But let Captain Friday tell you.
At midnight, we were asleep in the cottage of my father, Mayor Friday, who's caretaker of the old cemetery. Then there came the disturbing wails of the old clawfoot phantom. I got up, and with Jimmy Parker went out into the night. Almost immediately, we stumbled onto a trail of bones that led us among the tombstones down into the City of the Dead. It led to a grave upon whose headstone had been placed a skull. It was a freshly opened grave, and there was a man down in it, digging.
So much for that. In the meantime, Dr. Tooner had been left at the cottage with Phyllis Carroll, kept abed by her knife wound. Also, the old mayor was supposedly asleep in one of the bedrooms, locked in by Captain Friday, so that he would not be disturbed. Dr. Tooner became frightened when old Clawfoot began to prowl outside the door and broke into Mayor Friday's room, only to find that he was not in the locked room at all. And then the Clawfoot creature took measure in his own hands. He broke into the front door, overwhelmed Dr. Tooner, and came to the bed beside the girl. When it reached toward her, she cried out and lost consciousness. It is now 2 a.m, and we are down in the city of the dead, where Captain Friday and Jimmy Parker are watching the ghoul at work in the grave. The grave of old Ernie Morton.
Get down, Parker. Down on your face and keep still. Did you see who it was digging in the grave, Captain? Keep still, I tell you. Not a move out of you. Don't even raise your head to look. Why so mysterious? Who is it? Never mind. You do as I say. Keep down here behind this tombstone. Here, where you going? Keep still. Now listen, I'm going to sneak out alone. Yeah, help. Be quiet. I'm going out alone because it'll make less noise. He's down in the grave now. I want to catch him red-handed. Well, I think that's a fool idea. Let me go along. You do what I tell you, Parker. Yeah, but he'll be desperate. He's liable to be the killer. I can take care of myself. Now, mind you, do what I say. Don't move a muscle until you hear me yell. I'll yell when I jump him. I don't like it. That doesn't make any difference. Remember now, wait until I yell.
The Clawfoot was here. Oh, Jimmy, what's happened to you? Oh, Jimmy. Oh, Jimmy.
Phyllis. Why, Phyllis, what's happened? What's been going on here?
Where have you been? Why have you been gone so long? Why are you so white? What's happened?
Nothing. Nothing that matters now. Tell me what's been going on here. Where's Doc Tooner?
He's over there behind those overturned chairs. Jimmy, he's dead.
Dead?
Jimmy, the Clawfoot Phantom's been here.
Phyllis.
Dr. Tooner tried to drive him out, and the thing killed him.
Phyllis, are you sure Dr. Tooner's dead?
Oh, please don't leave me.
I'm not going to leave you. I want to see if there's anything I can do for the doctor.
I know he's dead, Jimmy. I saw him fall.
No. No, he's not, Phil. No, he's not dead. He's still breathing.
Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad.
Oh, wait, I'll get him on the lounge. I don't think he's very badly hurt. There. Looks to me like he's just been knocked out.
Oh, that's wonderful.
What a fight there must have been. This place is a wreck. Everything upside down.
Yes, it was pretty bad.
And what happened after old Clawfoot knocked the doctor out?
It turned on me. It made a little mewing wail. I never felt so awful in my life.
Mewing wail? Phyllis, what are you saying?
It was just like that, Jimmy. Just as though it was an animal that was glad to see me.
Oh, for goodness sake.
It crept toward me, wailing a little soft wail. Oh, Jimmy, I can't tell you how terrible it was. It just kept coming closer and closer.
And you couldn't move.
I screamed at it to go away. I begged it not to come near me, but it kept coming on and on. And then suddenly it was over me. It stretched out a lean claw hand.
Oh, Phil, dear.
And then I fainted.
Ah, you poor kid. I thought you'd be safe here. I'd never let you.
I just came to. Just a moment before you came in. The thing was gone.
I wish I knew what to do about Doc Tooner there.
You're certain he isn't dying?
No, he's not dying. Just a bump on the head. He'll be around presently. Hey, where's Mayor Friday? Who broke open his door? I forgot all about him.
We don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
We don't know what's become of him. When old Clawfoot began to wail outside, Dr. Tooner broke in the door to awaken him. But the mayor wasn't any place in the room.
Yeah, but that's silly, Phil. We saw Captain Friday lock his father in.
He wasn't there. He vanished.
Vanished from a barred and locked room?
And I've got to lie here in this miserable bed with my shoulder hurt. Oh, what if something should come after me? I couldn't run. I couldn't do anything.
Don't you worry about that, Phil. I'm not moving from your side from now on.
But what about you? You were so white when you came in. Something's happened. Why don't you tell me?
What do you mean, Phil?
You're holding something back. What happened out there in the city of the dead? Why were you so white when you ran into the house? Where is Captain Friday?
Well, Phyllis...
Has something happened to the captain?
No, Phyllis, you've got enough to worry about. Don't bother your head about it.
It's Dr. Tuner.
Yeah, still
He's
unconscious. He's still unconscious, but he'll be around pretty soon now.
Oh, Jimmy Parker, you tell me what happened. You've got to tell me. Is he dead? Is Captain Friday dead?
No. That is, I don't know.
You don't know? Well, weren't you with him all the time? Oh, Jimmy, don't put me off.
I'm not putting you off, Phyllis. Honestly, I don't know.
Then...
Phil, Captain Friday's vanished.
Vanished? Captain Friday's vanished. Oh, Jimmy.
Now, Phyllis, don't give way. Please don't.
Oh, but first the mayor disappeared, and now his son. Jimmy, do you think we're to be next?
Of course not.
But think of what's happened. First it was my cousin, Bert Arnold. They strangled him and threw him in an old grave.
Oh, don't talk about it, Phil. It'll only make you feel worse.
And then that stranger was stabbed to death outside your window.
Well, we know old Clawfoot did that. We saw him.
And then Lammy Fink, frightened to death. What is there in the world that could frighten a person to death?
Well, that old caretaker was always scared of a cemetery at night, you know that.
But what a horrible way to die. I've heard that a person's heart sometimes bursts wide open with fear. Did you ever hear of that, Jimmy?
No, of course not. Stop it now, Phil. You're frightening yourself sick with this kind of talk.
And then Mayor Friday vanished from a barred room.
Oh, Phil, I tell you...
And now Captain Friday. Tell me, Jimmy, how did Captain Friday disappear? How did it happen?
Oh, listen here, Phil. Wait until morning, won't you? Wait until daylight and I'll tell you all about it. It'll only be a few hours now.
No, I want to hear now.
But Phyllis, it's not a nice story.
Tell me now.
Well, I left the house and went to the shed where we laid out the skeleton.
The skeleton with the message tied to it, saying it wasn't my grandfather?
Oh, Phil, I wish you wouldn't.
Go on, Jimmy.
Well, the skeleton was gone.
Gone? The skeleton, too. The mayor, the captain, and now the skeleton.
Yes, the skeleton was gone. We were looking about outside the shed when I ran across the bones of its foot.
Its foot?
Yes. Just a little further down into the city of the dead, and Captain Friday found its ankle bone.
What? Well, that's strange. What did that mean?
We didn't know at first. But presently we found leg bones and most of the rest of the skeleton scattered out ahead of us. It was a trail of bones, Phyllis.
A trail of bones?
Yes, a trail of bones leading us down into the city of the dead. Leading us down to a grave.
Any particular grave?
The grave of Ernie Morton.
Ernie Morton?
The grave we opened in search of the Black Pearls.
Oh, Jimmy.
The grave in which the strangled body of your cousin Bert Arnold was found.
Oh, what does it mean? What is it?
And Phil, when we got down into the city of the dead, there perched on the headstone of Ernie Morton's grave was the grinning skull of our skeleton.
Oh.
And that isn't all.
Yes?
Phyllis, there was someone digging in that grave again.
Jimmy.
Yes, someone digging. Digging. He didn't see us. We threw ourselves down in the shadow of a tombstone. It was brilliant moonlight.
Who was it?
I couldn't tell. I don't know. Captain Friday made me lie flat, and I couldn't see a thing. All I could hear was the shoveling. Shoveling of the ghoul in Ernie Morton's grave.
Then what happened?
Captain Friday was peering around the edge of the tombstone. Suddenly he called my name and dropped back to the ground.
You saw who it was?
That's what I thought, but if he did, he wouldn't tell me. He said he was going out after the fellow and that I was to lie still until he yelled. He said he would yell when he leaped into the grave on the man, and that was my signal to come to his aid.
Why didn't you go with him?
Well, I wanted to, but he wouldn't let me. He wouldn't even let me raise my head to watch him while he sneaked up on the grave.
Why?
I don't know. Then he slipped out, and I waited. I waited. Pretty soon I heard the shoveling stop. I got ready to jump to my feet. I expected the captain to yell any second, but there wasn't any yell. I waited a few seconds longer, and then I raised myself and looked over the top of the gravestone.
Yes, Jimmy?
Phyllis, there wasn't a sign of anyone any place around.
Jimmy!
It's as true as anything I ever said in my life. Captain Friday had vanished. The gravedigger had vanished. Even the shovel had gone. I rushed to the edge of the half-uncovered grave and looked everywhere. There was nothing.
Oh, Jimmy, I couldn't have done that.
I stood there in the moonlight at the edge of the grave, petrified for a moment. Then I yelled until my lungs hurt. And all I got from my trouble was a lot of echoes. Echoes coming up from the ruins of the old church. Echoes and the faint sounding of that phantom church bell.
I couldn't have stood it.
Then I got sick, and I got away from the edge of the grave and started to run. It's more than a mile, but I ran the whole way back here to the cottage without stopping.
No wonder you were white and out of breath.
And when I came in the door and found everything so upset and you so frightened, it brought me to my senses. I think the doctor's coming too, Phyllis.
Get a pan of cold water, Jimmy. Bathe his head.
Yeah, okay. Watch him, Phil. If he starts to move around, yell. I don't want him to fall off the lounge.
He's all right. Only hurry.
Coming. Now we'll fix him up. Poor old guy. Yeah, this cold water will help that head. You know, Phil, this is pretty rough treatment for a man as old as Doc Tuner.
It's pretty rough treatment on any of us. And Jimmy, just as sure as anything in this world, this is building up to something.
Yeah. I suppose everything has a payoff.
I just hope that payoff won't end up in a funeral parlor. That's all I hope.
The old mare missing, Captain Friday missing. The prowling of old Clawfoot is building up to something more surely than Phyllis Carroll can know. And on the next appearance of one of these three, who is even now making his way between the moonlit headstones toward the cottage. But more of that in just a moment.
Oh, my head.
No, he's coming to all right, Phil.
I'm awfully sorry about him. He's been so kind to me.
And the mayor keeps some stimulant around here somewhere. I think a little something would do him good.
I saw it on the lower left-hand shelf in the kitchen cupboard, Jimmy.
Oh, good. I'll get it.
Did you find it, Jimmy?
Yeah, I got it. This'll snap him out of it. Here now, Doc. Try and drink this. That's put color in his face. He's opening his eyes, Phil. Hello, Doc. Feeling pretty bad?
What is it? What's the matter?
Just a little bump on the head, Doctor. You'll be all right in a minute.
Bump on the head? How did I get a bump on the head?
Oh, don't remember, huh? Old Clawfoot slugged you.
Clawfoot. Clawfoot, I remember. He was after Miss Carroll. Did he get her? Did he get her?
I'm all right, Dr. Tuner. Honest, I am. Don't you worry about me a bit.
I shouldn't have let that thing get the best of me. I guess I ain't as young as I used to be.
Well, don't you worry about that. You put up a good fight. Phyllis told me all about it.
I'm still a good fighting man, Parker. I'd have brained that thing with the poker if my foot hadn't slipped. That's what was the matter. My foot slipped.
Yeah, of course, Dr. Tuner. That's the way it happened. Now, you just lay back and rest a while.
Say, Parker.
Well?
You know, I'm feeling kind of dejected like. I think I could do with another spoonful out of that bottle.
Oh, that's right, sir. I'll bet you could. In just a minute, I'll fix it for you. Here you are.
Oh, thanks, Parker.
Yeah, that's all right. Now, you just lie still for a bit until you feel stronger.
Jimmy, could I have a drink of water?
Oh, sure thing. Now, I'll have it for you in a jiffy. Here you are, Phil.
Hey, where's Captain Friday, Parker?
He hasn't come in yet.
What's he doing out meandering around the city of the dead this time of night?
Oh, he'll be in when he gets ready.
What gets me is what that old Clawfoot critter wanted in here. I reckon he didn't come for Miss Carroll after all, seeing as he went away without hurting her none. Did you see what he did after I was knocked out, Miss Carroll?
No, Dr. Tuner. He came toward me and I fainted.
Fainted, huh?
Yes, and he was gone when I came to.
And you ain't noticed anything different since you waked up? Anything about the room or anything in the room?
Why, no.
Funny. What do you suppose he wanted, Parker?
I don't suppose he wanted anything. Probably the midnight ramblings of a mad creature. I think you and Phil were lucky to get off with your lives.
Listen.
The phantom church bell again. I wonder if it's going to begin all over.
Begin over again? What do you mean?
I mean, I wonder if we're going to have more trouble with old Clawfoot tonight.
Oh, Jimmy, would you please look out of the window and see if anything's outside?
Oh, of course, Phyllis. Hey, Dr. Tuner, what are you doing? You lie down there.
No, sir. I reckon I'm feeling a mite sprier than I did. I guess I'll be moving about a bit.
Yeah, but you had a nasty blow on the head.
Well, you don't want me to stay in bed the rest of my life just because you bumped my head, do you, Parker?
No, of course not. Not if you feel like getting up.
There goes the bell again. Oh, please look out of the window and see if that thing is around again.
I don't suppose I'll be able to see much. Shh. Someone on the porch. Yeah, someone on the porch. Listen. Shh. He's coming up to the door. Is it bolted? Yes, I locked it.
I don't want it to come in here. I couldn't stand seeing it again.
Shh, Phil. Doc and I can take care of you. I wouldn't mind having a gun.
Yeah, that's what I wished for on his last visit.
Here. You take the leg of this broken chair. I'll handle the poker. Shh, shh.
Hello? Who's there?
Mean disposition, whoever he is.
Oh, Jimmy, I'm so afraid.
Hi, you out there. You better answer if you know what's good for you.
That's right. We're two against you. You ain't got a chance.
Doc Tuner. Doc Tuner, is that you?
It's Mayor Friday. Will that be? Sure, it's me, Mayor. Here, unlock that door and let the mayor in.
Dr. Tuner, are you certain it's the mayor?
Certain? Of course I'm certain. Go on, open the door, Parker. Yeah, what did I tell you? Of course it's the mayor.
Yeah, why shouldn't it be me? What in tarnation you go and lock me out for?
Well, why didn't you answer instead of tromping up on the porch and banging on the door without a word?
Because I ain't used to asking for permission to enter my own house. What in the Sam Hills happened here anyway? Who broke that chair? Who smashed in that door?
I reckon it couldn't be helped, Mayor. We had a little visit from old Clawfoot while you were out.
Clawfoot?
I reckon so.
By the way, Mayor Friday, where have you been all night?
Curious young squirt, ain't you, Parker?
Perhaps so. But a lot of things have been happening around the City of the Dead tonight. And I think you can throw light on a great deal of it.
What's been happening?
Well, to begin with, we all saw Captain Friday lock you in that room there before he and I went out into the City of the Dead.
You saw the captain lock me in?
That's right, Mayor. I reckon we all saw him do it.
Doc, you saw him lock me in?
I reckon that's right, Mayor.
When was that, Doc?
Just before he and young Parker here went out. I reckon it was something about like midnight, Mayor.
Oh.
How'd you get out, Mayor Friday?
Where's the captain, Parker?
Why, he vanished.
Vanished?
Yes. We went down into the City of the Dead together and, well, he disappeared.
You mean something's happened to my son, Parker?
I'm sorry, Mayor Friday. I don't know what happened to him. You see, we found someone digging in Ernie Morton's grave.
Ernie Morton's grave?
Yes. Captain Friday made me lie down behind a tombstone while he crept up to the grave. He told me to wait until he shouted.
Well?
He never shouted.
Didn't shout?
No. I waited as long as I thought it wise, and then I followed.
What did you see?
Nothing. Captain Friday had vanished, and so had the fellow that had been digging.
Did you see who it was in that grave?
No. When I got to the edge of the grave, there was nothing but a partly filled hole.
That's a likely story, young man.
Well, it's true.
Yeah, I reckon I know better than that.
Well, what do you mean?
Just what I say. It just happens that I came up through the City of the Dead right by Ernie Morton's grave not half an hour ago, and that grave ain't been touched. Maybe, though, you filled up the grave before you came in.
No, I left it just as it was. You say it's filled up now?
Reckon it ain't been opened this night.
Well, I tell you, it was open.
And I tell you, Parker, if you killed my son, it's going to be the last sneaking thing you do.
That's the most asinine statement I ever heard.
Oh, another country heard from.
Phyllis is right. It is asinine.
Now, look here, Mayor. Are you certain Ernie Morton's grave hasn't been dug into?
I'll take you down there if you can't take my word for it.
No, if you say so, Mayor, it's so. But look here, Parker ain't been acting like my idea of a killer.
You're an old fool, Doc Tuner. How do you know how a killer acts?
Now then, Mayor, you can't make me believe that you think the captain's dead. I ain't lived around you 40 years for nothing. If you really thought anything had happened to that boy...
You keep your thoughts to yourself, Doc Tuner.
But, Mayor Friday, why would Jimmy do a thing like that? He hadn't any reason. Honestly, he didn't.
The captain was getting too much on him. Of course he had reason. Plenty of reason.
Oh, no. Honestly, Jimmy wouldn't hurt anyone. Honestly.
Yeah, there now, Miss Carroll.
Oh, Phil, don't cry. It's all right.
Oh, but you didn't.
Now, Miss Carroll, you've gone and made yourself unhappy again. You've had too much trouble tonight.
Oh, but Dr. Tuner, you know Jimmy wouldn't hurt anybody, don't you?
Well, yes, of course. Here, now, you let me straighten out your pillow for you.
But the mayor said...
There now. Let me lift you up a little. Yeah, now I can fix that pillow. I'll give you a powder that'll put... Hello. What's this under your pillow?
Why, I don't know.
Look here, Mayor, Parker, look. Look what I found under Miss Carroll's pillow.
What is it? Let me see. What have you got there, Dr. Tuner?
A black pearl. A black pearl.
Jumping Jerusalem. Did you ever see anything like it? A black pearl as big as a pigeon's egg.
But where'd it come from? Dr. Tuner, where did you get it?
I found it under Miss Carroll's pillow, just where I said I found it.
Phil, where did you get it?
I don't know. It isn't mine. I never saw it before.
But it was under your pillow, young woman.
I don't care. I never saw it before.
Ain't it a beauty? One of old Theodore Beverly's collection, as sure as you're born.
But it's uncanny. How did it get under my pillow?
Well, one thing's certain now anyway.
What's that, son?
That somebody has found the pearls. Their whereabouts is no longer a secret to somebody.
And to someone in this group.
How do you figure that out, Mayor?
Because we're the only ones who've had an opportunity of placing the pearl under the girl's pillow.
Old Clawfoot. It was old Clawfoot.
By jiggers, I wonder.
Of course it was old Clawfoot. We were wondering why he broke into the place. He didn't take anything, didn't hurt anyone more than was necessary to carry out his mission.
Sounds reasonable.
Well, of course. If Phyllis hadn't fainted, I'll bet he'd have put the pearl right in her hand.
Jimmy, do you really think so?
I'll bet money on it.
But why? Why?
I don't know. Just the same, I'll bet it was he. I know it was.
You seem awful anxious to convince us, Parker.
What do you mean, Mayor?
I mean, I don't think Clawfoot had anything to do with that pearl.
Oh? Well, what's your theory?
I think you put that pearl there.
What? Me?
Yes. I think that pearl explains why the captain didn't come back to the cottage with you, James Parker.
But I don't understand.
Oh, yes, you do. In some manner, you and my son hit on the hiding place of them black pearls tonight. And it didn't suit your purpose to have anybody but yourself know about them.
You're crazy.
Well, maybe I am and maybe I ain't. But just the same, young fella, I ain't taking any chances. You're going in that there bedroom of yours, and you're going to stay there until we can turn you over to the police.
But you can't do that. You mustn't.
Look here, Mayor, that's absurd. Why on earth would I give myself away by bringing one of the pearls here to the cottage?
You couldn't resist the temptation of bringing one along to show to the girl. Likely you and her was looking at it when Doc Tuner came to. You didn't have time to hide it, so you stuck it under her pillow.
No. I never saw it before. Honestly, I didn't. I swear it.
No, don't you go getting all excited again, Miss Carroll.
What's the matter with you, Mayor Friday? Why don't you give me a break? You're always making me the goat for everything. What have you got against me? I've never done anything to you.
That won't do you no good, Parker.
Well, you know what I think of you.
With as much circumstantial evidence against you...
Circumstantial evidence? I'd like to know if there's anyone in the world that's got more against them than you.
You went out of this house with my son, and you came back alone. That's enough for me.
Look!
What? Are you pointing at me?
Yes, I'm pointing at you. Look, there in his vest pocket.
Jimmy, what is it? I don't see anything.
Must be losing his mind. What's the matter with you?
Look at that gold pencil in his vest pocket. That's Captain Friday's pencil.
You mean...
Captain Friday had that pencil in his pocket when we left the house tonight.
What? What's that?
And look at the fresh dirt on the knee of the mayor's trousers.
Oh, Jimmy.
Mayor Friday, supposing you tell us what's become of your son, Captain Friday.
There have been many clues pointing to old Mayor Friday of the City of the Dead all along. But now, had he finally hanged himself? And was it Clawfoot who left the black pearl for Phyllis? Not only these questions, but the whereabouts of Captain Friday will be brought to you next week when Carlton E. Morse presents Chapter 8 of The City of the Dead, entitled The Kidnapping of Clawfoot.
Thank you for joining us tonight. We'll be broadcasting again next week, next Sunday night, on the 24th of November. And we'll be celebrating, to a certain extent, the Thanksgiving that occurs in the United States the following Thursday. As always, we hope that you'll be a frequent visitor. And until next time, sleep tight.
This is a production of Lobato Studios, Sao Paulo, Brazil.